I want you to understand. The old world is dead. From today forward, this world operates on my terms. The strong rise, the weak fall. Could a hero truly become a monster? Watch a legend reborn in scales. I'm showing you a world where the leaf burns today.
The sky above Konoha cracked, not metaphorically, not symbolically. The actual sky split open with a jagged seam of black-red lightning as a 7-foot-tall 12-year-old boy swung a massive iron club through the air with one hand, laughing like thunder given voice. Whoa! Is this really the best Konoha has to offer? Naruto Uzumaki stood in the middle of the academy training grounds, surrounded by unconscious Anbu operatives. Their masks were cracked, their bodies embedded in crater-shaped indentations in the earth. The third Hokage watched from a safe distance, his aged face carved with deep lines of concern and barely concealed fear. This wasn't supposed to happen. The academy graduation exam wasn't supposed to end with elite shinobi hospitalized, but nothing about Naruto Uzumaki had ever gone according to plan. The boy, if such a word could even apply to the muscular horned giant before them, hefted his kanabo hasaikai onto his shoulder. Blue scales covered portions of his forearms and neck, glittering like sapphire armor in the afternoon sun. His orange fur coat, draped casually over his shoulders, billowed in the wind. 2 curved horns jutted from his blonde hair, each nearly 6 inches long. His eyes held no trace of the loneliness or desperation that should have defined an orphan, a jinchūriki, a pariah. Instead, those eyes burned with savage hunger. "Old man," Naruto called out, pointing Hasaikai at the Hokage. "When do I get to fight someone strong? These weaklings bore me." Hiruzen Sarutobi took a slow breath, drawing on decades of experience to keep his voice steady. "Naruto, you've passed the graduation exam. You'll be assigned to a team tomorrow. Your Jonin instructor will..." "Will what?" Naruto's grin widened, showing 2 sharp teeth. "Teach me. I was born knowing more about combat than any of these so-called shinobi. I want war, old man. I want to separate the strong from the weak. I want to find someone who can actually make me feel something when they hit me." He slammed Hasaikai into the ground. The earth exploded outward in a perfect circle, sending chunks of stone flying. Several academy instructors flinched backward. Hiruzen remembered the reports. All of them. Every single inexplicable incident that had defined Naruto's existence since the moment of his birth. The night the Nine Tails attacked, Minato Namikaze had sealed the beast into his newborn son, believing the child would become the village's savior, its greatest weapon against future threats. The 4th Hokage had died with that hope in his heart. What he'd actually created was something else entirely. The first anomaly occurred within hours. The medical ninja attending to infant Naruto tried to draw blood for routine tests. The needle shattered against his skin. They tried a chakra-enhanced scalpel. It broke. They tried everything in their arsenal. Nothing could pierce the baby's flesh. When one panicking medic attempted to use a fire jutsu to sterilize a wound that wouldn't form, the flames washed over the infant harmlessly. Naruto had giggled. By age 2, he'd grown to the size of a 5-year-old. By age 5, he stood as tall as most academy students twice his age, and small nubs had begun protruding from his skull. The villagers who might have tormented him, who nursed their hatred of the Nine Tails in their hearts, found themselves unable to approach. Something primal in their hindbrain screamed predator when they saw him. Mothers pulled their children inside when he walked past. Grown men crossed the street to avoid him. Naruto didn't care. He'd never cared about their acceptance or their hatred. Such things were beneath him. At age 7, a drunk shinobi, emboldened by alcohol and rage, had attacked him in an alley with a kunai aimed at his throat. Naruto had caught the blade with his bare hand, snapped it like a twig, and backhanded the man through a wall. The impact had shattered 3 of the shinobi's ribs. When Anbu arrived, Naruto was already gone, laughing his strange booming laugh as he vanished into the night. At age 9, the academy instructors had attempted to place him in their standard curriculum: ninjutsu theory, taijutsu basics, chakra control exercises. Naruto had demolished every test without effort. When they asked him to demonstrate the clone technique, He'd created 1,000 perfect replicas that filled the entire academy building. When they asked him to spar with his classmates, he'd put 6 of them in the hospital with casual swats that sent bodies flying like broken dolls. They'd stopped trying to teach him after that. They simply endured him, watched him, feared him, and now he wanted a team. Hiruzen had spent 3 sleepless nights deciding which jonin to assign to Naruto's squad. The choice had to be someone strong enough to earn a modicum of respect, skilled enough to potentially survive if things went wrong, and experienced enough to handle the impossible. There was only one real candidate. Your jonin instructor will be Kakashi Hatake, Hiruzen said. You'll meet him tomorrow at Training Ground 3 with your teammates. Naruto's grin somehow widened further. The copy ninja? The man with 1,000 copied techniques? He laughed again, that distinctive roaro that echoed across the village like rolling thunder. This might actually be interesting. If he can make me bleed, I'll consider him worthy. He turned and walked away, Hasakai dragging behind him, carving a furrow in the earth. The Anbu operative still hadn't regained consciousness. Hiruzen watched him go, feeling every one of his 69 years settling into his bones. In all his decades as Hokage, through 3 great shinobi wars, through countless crises and catastrophes, he'd never felt the particular brand of dread that Naruto Uzumaki inspired. Because the boy wasn't a shinobi, wasn't even human, really, despite his human parentage. Naruto Uzumaki was a force of nature wearing human skin, and tomorrow, he'd meet his team. Sakura Haruno arrived at Training Ground 3 precisely on time, her pink hair neatly combed, her confidence bolstered by her excellent academy scores. Sasuke Uchiha arrived moments later, his dark eyes scanning the area with the cool assessment of a prodigy, his mind still dwelling on the power he'd witnessed his brother demonstrate, the power he needed to obtain. Neither of them had been told who their third teammate would be. Sasuke-kun! Sakura immediately moved to his side, her voice taking on the saccharine quality she reserved for the Uchiha heir. I can't believe we're on the same team. This is going to be... Move, Sasuke said flatly, taking a seat on the grass and closing his eyes. Sakura's smile faltered but held. She sat nearby, chattering about their future missions, about the jonin instructor they'd supposedly be meeting, about everything and nothing. The earth rumbled. Both genin froze. The vibration came from the tree line, accompanied by a sound like distant thunder or laughter. A massive shape emerged from between the trees, and Sakura's voice died in her throat. Naruto Uzumaki stood 7 feet tall, his muscular frame casting a long shadow across the training ground. His horns caught the morning light. Blue scales glittered on his exposed skin where his orange fur coat didn't cover. In his right hand, he held Hasaikai, the massive kanabo resting on his shoulder as casually as a normal person might carry a stick. Whoa! So these are my teammates? His voice boomed across the field. Let me guess, the pink-haired girl who screams too much and the brooding Uchiha who thinks his Sharingan makes him special? Sasuke's eyes snapped open, immediately activating his single Tomoe Sharingan on instinct. A threat. His body recognized a threat. Sakura tried to speak. Her mouth opened and closed soundlessly. The pressure emanating from Naruto wasn't chakra, wasn't killing intent in any conventional sense. It was something older, something that bypassed conscious thought and spoke directly to the survival instinct buried in every living thing. Run, it said. You are prey. What are you? Sakura finally managed to whisper. Naruto's grin showed all his teeth. I'm the strongest. I'm the future king of this boring world. I'm the man who's going to create the greatest war in history and separate the strong from the weak. He slammed Hasaikai into the ground, cracking the earth. And you two are going to either get strong enough to be useful, or you're going to stay out of my way. Quite the introduction, a lazy voice called from the trees. Kakashi Hatake appeared in a swirl of leaves, his single visible eye curved in his signature smile, his posture relaxed. But Sasuke noticed his jonin instructor's hand was already positioned near his kunai pouch. Battle ready, though I think you're scaring your teammates, Naruto. Whoa! The copy ninja arrives! Naruto turned to face Kakashi fully, his excitement palpable. Tell me, Hatake, how many of those 1,000 techniques you copied can actually damage me? I'm betting 0. Kakashi's eye narrowed slightly. He'd read the reports, but seeing Naruto in person was different. The boy radiated power the way a bonfire radiated heat, impossible to ignore, overwhelming to approach. Well, how about we save that question for after our test? I have a bell exercise planned. Boring, Naruto interrupted, pointing Hasaikai at Kakashi. I have a better test. You try to hurt me. Use everything you've got. If you can make me bleed even a single drop, I'll consider you qualified to lead this team. If you can't, his grin became predatory. Then I'm the leader, and we do things my way. Sakura looked between Naruto and Kakashi in horror. Wait, you can't just attack the instructor. That's insane. Actually, Kakashi said slowly, his mind racing through tactical options, that might work better than my original plan. He'd been preparing for this inevitability since receiving his assignment. The Hokage had been clear: establish dominance early, or don't establish it at all. A conventional Genin team structure wouldn't work with Naruto Uzumaki. But if we're doing this, we're doing it properly. Sasuke, Sakura, clear the area. This could get dangerous. I want to watch, Sasuke said immediately, his Sharingan fixed on Naruto. Power. He needed to understand that power. Then watch from a distance, Kakashi said, his voice carrying an edge of command. At least 50 meters. That's an order. Something in his tone made both Genin retreat to the tree line without further argument. When they were clear, Kakashi reached up and lifted his headband, revealing his Sharingan, Eye, the three Tomoe spinning lazily. Naruto's laugh boomed again. Whoa! So the rumors are true. A Sharingan on a non-Uchiha. This will be interesting. Come at me with everything you have, Kakashi said, his hands already forming signs. Because I won't be holding back. Good. Naruto's grin was manic. Neither will I. Kakashi didn't waste time on banter. His hands blurred through seals. Water style, water dragon jutsu. Moisture condensed from the air and ground, forming into a massive serpentine dragon that roared toward Naruto with crushing force. The technique had enough power to demolish buildings, to flood entire streets. Naruto didn't move, didn't dodge, didn't even raise his arms in defense. The water dragon struck him dead center. Tons of pressurized water slamming into his chest with devastating force. The impact created a crater, water exploding outward in all directions. When the spray cleared, Naruto stood exactly where he'd been, completely dry, not even a scratch on his skin. He hadn't moved an inch. Whoa, that tickled. Got anything stronger? Kakashi's visible eye widened fractionally. He'd expected resistance, but not complete immunity. His hands were already forming new signs. Fire style, fireball jutsu. He inhaled deeply and exhaled a massive sphere of flame that engulfed Naruto completely, temperatures hot enough to melt steel. The grass around the impact zone charred instantly. Trees caught fire. The flames dispersed. Naruto stood unharmed, his fur coat not even singed. Come on, copy ninja. Is copying all you can do? Show me your strength. Kakashi's mind raced. Physical jutsu weren't working. Elemental techniques did nothing. The boy's defense was absolute, which meant he needed to try something more direct, more lethal. Lightning began to gather in his left hand, crackling with violent energy. The sound of 1,000 birds filled the air as Kakashi formed his signature technique, the one he'd created himself, the one that had earned him his reputation. His Sharingan tracked Naruto's position, calculating the perfect angle of attack. Chidori. Kakashi vanished in a burst of speed, his hand wreathed in concentrated lightning thrust forward like a spear, aimed directly at Naruto's chest. The technique had the power to pierce through nearly any defense, to punch through solid rock, to kill with a single touch. Naruto's grin never faltered. He made no move to dodge, to defend, to counter. The Chidori struck him directly over his heart. Clang! The sound of metal striking metal rang across the training ground. Lightning dispersed harmlessly across Naruto's skin, scattering into the air like water hitting stone. Kakashi felt the shock travel up his arm. It was like punching a mountain. Not just tough skin, not just dense muscle, but something fundamentally impenetrable. His hand hurt. His signature technique, his killing blow, had done absolutely nothing. My turn, Naruto said, his voice filled with savage joy. Kakashi tried to retreat, to create distance, but Naruto's hand shot out faster than even the Sharingan could track. Fingers like iron vices clamped around Kakashi's wrist. The Jonin felt bones creak under the pressure. Whoa, you're fast! Copy ninja! But I'm faster! Naruto hefted Hasaikai with his free hand, The Kanabo wreathed suddenly in crackling black-red lightning that didn't quite touch the metal. The air itself seemed to distort around the weapon. From the tree line, Sasuke Sharingan picked up the energy but couldn't comprehend it. This wasn't chakra, or if it was fundamentally different from anything he'd seen before. Thunder Bagua! Naruto swung. Kakashi barely managed to substitute with a log at the last possible instant. The replacement technique executed with desperate precision. The Kanabo obliterated the log and continued its arc, the sheer wind pressure creating a blade of force that carved through the earth. Kakashi reappeared 20 meters away, his hands already forming signs for his strongest technique. He'd wanted to avoid this, wanted to keep some cards hidden, but Naruto had left him no choice. Lightning gathered in his hand again, but this time the intensity was different. More violent, more concentrated. This wasn't the Chidori, this was its evolution. Raikiri! The lightning blade, a technique that had earned Kakashi the title of the man who cut lightning itself. He channeled every bit of chakra he could spare into his hand, the lightning turning from blue to white with the intensity. Naruto's eyes lit up with genuine excitement. Now we're talking! Come on! Hit me with everything! Kakashi shot forward, his speed enhanced to its absolute limit. The Raikiri screamed through the air, a concentrated point of destructive energy aimed at Naruto's throat. Naruto caught Kakashi's wrist mid-thrust. The Raikiri blazed against Naruto's palm, lightning arcing wildly, power enough to vaporize flesh and bone concentrated into a single point. Naruto's skin didn't even redden. Strong technique, Naruto said, his voice filled with genuine appreciation. But not strong enough. He yanked Kakashi forward and slammed Hasekai into the Jonin's midsection. Not the killing blow he threatened, but a measured strike that nevertheless sent Kakashi flying backward like a bullet. The Jonin's body crashed through one tree, then two, then three, each impact accompanied by the crack of breaking wood. Kakashi hit the ground hard, rolling to disperse momentum, coughing up blood. His ribs were cracked. He could feel them grinding with each breath. That single hit had done more damage than he'd taken in the last 5 years of active combat. And Naruto was already walking toward him, Hasekai resting casually on his shoulder, that manic grin still plastered across his face. Whoa! Is that it? I'm just getting started. Come on, copy ninja, entertain me. Kakashi forced himself upright, pain lancing through his torso. He'd used nearly a third of his chakra already, and Naruto hadn't even transformed yet. The reports mentioned transformations, plural, forms that made his human appearance look weak by comparison. This wasn't a fight he could win. That much was obvious, but he needed to at least demonstrate that he wasn't completely helpless, that he could serve some purpose on this team beyond being a punching bag. He pulled out a kunai, knowing how useless it would be, preparing to. Enough. The word carried such absolute command that Kakashi froze mid-motion. Naruto had stopped walking, his head tilted slightly, his expression shifting from manic excitement to something else. Contemplation? Evaluation? You're strong for a human, Naruto said, his voice losing some of its battle-crazed edge. Stronger than most of the weaklings I've met in this village. Your techniques are sharp, your speed is impressive, and you had the guts to actually try to kill me. He planted Hasekai in the ground, leaning on it like a walking stick. I acknowledge you, Kakashi Hatake. You can lead this team, for now. Kakashi carefully lowered his kunai, every instinct screaming that this was a test within a test. For now? Until you prove too weak to be useful, Naruto said simply. Or until someone stronger comes along. That's how it works in my world. The strong lead, the weak follow, and the useless are discarded. His grin returned, sharp and savage. But I think you might be useful, copy ninja. You know where the strong enemies are hiding, don't you? You know where I can find worthy opponents? Understanding dawned in Kakashi's mind. Naruto wasn't interested in leading a team in any conventional sense. He didn't want to make decisions about missions or training schedules or team dynamics. What he wanted was a guide, someone who could point him toward increasingly dangerous challenges, someone who could help him find his war. I know where strong shinobi can be found, Kakashi said carefully, pulling himself fully upright despite the pain. Missing nin, enemy villages, legendary warriors. The shinobi world is full of powerful individuals. Good. Naruto's booming laugh returned. Then you're hired. Lead me to battles worth fighting. Give me opponents worth crushing. In exchange, I'll make sure you three weaklings don't die when things get interesting. He turned toward the tree line where Sakura and Sasuke still watched. Oi! Pinky! Brooding boy! Get over here! Time to explain how this team works. Sakura and Sasuke approached cautiously, Sakura's face pale with shock at seeing their Jonin instructor injured, Sasuke's Sharingan still active, still trying to analyze what he'd witnessed. Let me make this simple, Naruto said, addressing the whole team. I'm the strongest. That's not an opinion, it's a fact. Nothing you've learned in the academy matters compared to true strength. Kakashi here at least understands that, which is why he's still conscious. He pointed at Sasuke. You, Uchiha, I saw you activate that Sharingan. You want power, right? I can feel the hunger coming off you. Good. Power is the only thing that matters. Get stronger and maybe you'll be worth something. Sasuke's jaw clenched, his pride warring with the undeniable truth he'd just witnessed. Everything he'd believed about his own progress, his own strength, suddenly felt insignificant compared to the overwhelming force Naruto represented. And you, Pinky, Naruto continued, turning to Sakura. I don't know what you're good at, but you'd better find your strength quickly. On this team, weaklings don't survive. My name is Sakura, she managed to say, her voice trembling but defiant. And I'm stronger than I look. Then show me! Naruto's grin widened. Prove it. Impress me. But until you do, you're just another weakling taking up space. Kakashi intervened before the situation could escalate further. Naruto, teams work through cooperation, not just raw strength. Wrong, Naruto interrupted. Teams work when everyone pulls their weight. When the strong protect their territory and the weak know their place. That's the natural order. He hefted Hasekai again. But I'll play along with your little shinobi game, Kakashi. Give us missions. Test these two. When they're ready, if they ever get ready, we'll tackle something actually dangerous. Kakashi sighed internally. This was going to be a very long Genin team experience. Fine. We'll start with a D-rank mission tomorrow. Meet at the Hokage's office at 9. D-rank? Naruto's expression shifted to disgust. You mean those pathetic chores, catching cats and pulling weeds? Every team starts with D-ranks, Kakashi said firmly, knowing he was walking a tightrope. It's how we learn to work together. Consider it. Reconnaissance. Understanding the village we're meant to protect. Naruto snorted. I don't protect weaklings. They either survive on their own or they don't, but fine. One day of boring tasks, then we do something real. Deal? It wasn't really a question. Kakashi nodded anyway. The first team meeting ended with Kakashi limping toward the hospital, Sakura following him to get checked for shock, Sasuke stalking off to process what he'd seen, and Naruto laughing his booming laugh as he wandered back into the village, dragging Hasekai behind him. In his office, Hiruzen Sarutobi received Kakashi's written report an hour later. The Jonin had been characteristically concise. Team 7 is functional. Maintaining control will require constant vigilance and strategic mission selection. Recommend accelerated advancement to higher rank missions to maintain Naruto's engagement. Conventional training approach is impossible. Proceeding with adapted strategy. Hiruzen set down the report and rubbed his temples. He'd known assigning Naruto to a team would be complicated. What he hadn't fully anticipated was just how quickly the boy would subvert the entire team structure. But perhaps that was for the best. Perhaps a conventional approach had been doomed from the start. He just hoped Kakashi knew what he was doing. Team 7's first D-rank mission was exactly as tedious as advertised. They spent 4 hours searching for the Fire Daimyo's wife's cat, a cranky feline named Tora, who had a well-earned reputation for escape attempts. Naruto spent the entire 4 hours complaining loudly about how boring it was, how he could simply demolish the entire district and force the cat to appear, how this was a waste of his time and strength. Sakura spent those 4 hours trying desperately to organize a search pattern, while Naruto ignored her suggestions. Sasuke spent them analyzing Naruto, watching the way he moved, the casual strength in every gesture, trying to understand the source of that overwhelming power. Kakashi spent them being grateful nothing had exploded yet. They found Tora eventually. Naruto simply unleashed a tiny fraction of his conqueror's haki in the direction of the cat's hiding spot, and the terrified animal fled directly into Sakura's arms. Mission complete. Kakashi announced with forced cheerfulness. See? Teamwork. That wasn't teamwork, Naruto said flatly. That was me doing all the work while these two watched. Get us a real mission, copy ninja, or I'm going to find my own entertainment. Kakashi knew exactly what kind of entertainment Naruto would find if left unsupervised. I'll talk to the Hokage. We might be able to skip ahead to C rank if... Do it, Naruto interrupted. Today, now, before I die of boredom. The mission briefing came together with unusual speed, likely because Hiruzen wanted to keep Naruto occupied before he caused an incident. A C-rank escort mission to the Land of Waves, protecting a bridge builder named Tazuna on his return journey. Standard escort duty. Low risk. Perfect for a new Genin team. Except nothing involving Naruto Uzumaki could ever be standard. They met Tazuna at the village gates the next morning. The old bridge builder took one look at Naruto, 7 feet tall, horned, covered in scales, carrying a weapon bigger than most grown men, and seriously reconsidered his hiring decision. This is my protection? Tazuna asked, his voice cracking slightly. Whoa, you should be grateful, old man. Naruto laughed. With me here, nothing can touch you, unless I get bored and wander off anyway. Kakashi shot Naruto a look. You won't wander off. That's part of being on a team. We'll see, Naruto said with a shrug that made Hasaikai shift on his shoulder. They set out toward the Land of Waves, taking the main road through Fire Country's forests. The journey should have taken 3 days at civilian pace. With Naruto's presence, it took 2, because he refused to walk slowly, and everyone else had to keep up or be left behind. On the second day, they encountered the Demon Brothers, 2 missing nin from Kirigakure, Gozu and Meizu, specialists in water-style assassination techniques. They'd been hired to kill Tazuna, turning what should have been a simple C-rank escort into something far more dangerous. They attacked at noon, when the sun was high and shadows were scarce. Their chain weapon emerged from a puddle despite the clear weather, wrapping around Kakashi and tearing him apart in a spray of blood and viscera. Sakura screamed. Sasuke activated his Sharingan, kunai appearing in his hands. Tazuna stumbled backward in shock. Naruto laughed. Waroro! Finally! Something interesting! The Demon Brothers turned their attention to Naruto, recognizing the real threat. They were professional killers, experienced and ruthless. They assessed their target, noted the unusual appearance, recalibrated their approach. They attacked simultaneously, both aiming for Naruto's throat with poison-coated claws, moving with the synchronized precision of twins who trained together for decades. Naruto didn't dodge. The clawed gauntlet struck his neck from both sides. Poison-enhanced metal designed to shred flesh and windpipe. Clang! Clang! Both assassins' light hands went numb from the impact. It was like striking solid steel. The poison-coated claws didn't penetrate even a millimeter. My turn, Naruto said cheerfully. He reached out with both hands, moving faster than either assassin could react, and grabbed them by their faces. His fingers, coated in invisible armament haki, gripped like vices. Weaklings, he pronounced, then slammed both assassins together. The impact of their skulls colliding created a sound like a thunderclap. Both Demon Brothers went instantly limp. Naruto dropped their unconscious bodies and turned to his team. See? Easy. Not even worth the effort of using Hasaikai. Kakashi emerged from the trees, completely unharmed, his Sharingan eye analyzing the aftermath. Nice replacement technique with the log, wasn't it? He said to Sasuke and Sakura, who were staring at the unconscious missing nin in shock. You were alive the whole time? Sakura sputtered. Basic substitution jutsu, Kakashi explained. I wanted to see how the team would react to a surprise attack. We didn't react, Sasuke said flatly. Naruto ended it in 2 seconds. 1.5 seconds, Naruto corrected with a grin. And that was me being slow. Wororo! Kakashi bound the Demon Brothers with ninja wire and turned to Tazuna, his visible eye serious. These were Chunin-level missing nin. This mission is clearly more dangerous than a C rank. You want to tell us what's really going on? Tazuna swallowed hard, looking at the massive boy who just casually defeated 2 experienced assassins. There's a man named Gato. He's a shipping magnate who controls all commerce in the Land of Waves through violence and intimidation. I'm building a bridge that will break his monopoly, so he's hired shinobi to kill me. And you lied about the mission rank to save money, Kakashi said, not bothering to hide his disapproval. I'm sorry, but my country is poor. We couldn't afford. Boring, Naruto interrupted. Who cares why we're here? The question is, does this Kaido have strong warriors protecting him? Will I finally get a decent fight? Tazuna blinked. I don't know. He's hired missing nin, supposedly someone dangerous. Naruto's grin widened. Good enough. We keep going. If this mystery warrior is strong, I'll crush them and prove my strength. If they're weak, I'll crush them and get disappointed. Either way, we're finishing this mission. Kakashi considered aborting the mission, returning to Konoha, reporting the deception, and requesting proper compensation for an A rank or B rank assignment. That would be the safe, responsible choice, but looking at Naruto's expression, hungry, excited, anticipating combat, he realized that aborting now might actually be more dangerous. An understimulated Naruto was a disaster waiting to happen. We continue, Kakashi decided. But everyone stays alert. And Tazuna, when we get back to Konoha, you're paying the proper rate for this mission. They crossed into the land of waves by boat that evening, the ferryman nervous and silent as he rowed them through the thick mist that perpetually shrouded the waters. The fog was unnatural, heavy with moisture and menace. I don't like this, Sakura whispered. The mist is too thick. Someone could be hiding anywhere. Let them hide, Naruto said loudly, his voice cutting through the mist like a blade. Come out and fight me. Stop skulking in the shadows like cowards. Naruto, Kakashi hissed. Stealth is part of. The mist suddenly thickened, becoming nearly opaque. The temperature dropped. The water around their boat began to churn. A voice echoed through the fog, deep and menacing. Well, Konoha shinobi. It's been a while since I fought the hidden leaf. A massive shape appeared in the mist, and then Zabuza Momochi stepped into view, standing on the water itself, his enormous executioner's blade resting on his shoulder. The demon of the hidden mist, one of the 7 swordsmen of the mist, a Jonin-level missing nin with a terrifying reputation. His face was wrapped in bandages, his eyes cold and calculating as they swept over Team 7. The demon of the mist, Kakashi said quietly, his hand moving to his headband. This just became an A-rank mission. Zabuza's eyes lingered on Naruto for a long moment, taking in the horns, the scales, the massive kanabo. What the hell are you supposed to be, kid? Naruto's laugh boomed across the water, cutting through the mist. Whoa, a demon calling someone else a monster. That's rich! He hefted Hassaikai with one hand, pointing it at Zabuza. I'm Naruto Uzumaki, the strongest in this boring world, and you're about to entertain me, demon of the mist. Zabuza's eyes narrowed. Cocky brat. Let me show you what happens to. He blurred into motion, his speed impressive, his blade swinging in a lethal arc meant to bisect Naruto at the waist. Naruto didn't move. The executioner's blade struck Naruto's midsection. Clang! The impact sent shockwaves across the water. Zabuza's arms went numb from the recoil. The blade, designed to cut through anything, hadn't even scratched Naruto's skin. My turn, Naruto said, his grin savage. He swung Hassaikai. Zabuza barely managed to raise his executioner's blade to block, crossing it in front of his body. The kanabo struck the sword with the force of a meteor impact. The executioner's blade, legendary weapon of the 7 swordsmen, one of the most durable weapons in the shinobi world, cracked. Zabuza was launched backward across the water like a skipping stone, his body bouncing twice before he managed to land on his feet, his hands shaking from the impact. What the hell is that strength? Zabuza snarled. Whoa! You're tougher than those pathetic assassins earlier. This might actually be fun. Naruto stepped off the boat, landing on the water's surface as naturally as walking on solid ground. No chakra control required. His sheer physical density made him heavy enough to stand on water through force alone. Zabuza's mind raced. The kid, because despite his size, he was clearly young, had strength beyond anything natural. His sword was damaged. His hidden mist technique would be useless if the boy could track him anyway. He needed to create distance, reassess, come up with a strategy. Hidden mist jutsu. Zabuza called out, pouring chakra into the technique. The mist thickened dramatically, becoming so dense that seeing one's own hand was impossible. It was Zabuza's signature move, the technique that had earned him his title, creating an environment where he could assassinate targets with perfect stealth. Naruto felt the mist press against him, obscuring vision, muffling sound. And he smiled. You think fog can hide you from me? Let me show you what real pressure feels like. Naruto closed his eyes and reached deep inside himself, touching the power that had defined him since birth, the power that existed beyond chakra, beyond ninjutsu, beyond anything this world understood. Conqueror's haki, the power of a king, the manifestation of pure willpower made physical, the ability to impose one's presence on reality itself. He released it. The effect was instantaneous and catastrophic. Black-red lightning erupted from Naruto's body, crackling through the mist like a thunderstorm contained in flesh. The air pressure changed. The temperature spiked. The very fabric of the hidden mist technique shredded as Naruto's overwhelming presence tore through it. The mist vanished completely, burned away by the sheer force of his haki. On the boat, Sakura's eyes rolled back in her head. She collapsed instantly, unconscious before she hit the deck. Tazuna followed seconds later, foam appearing at the corners of his mouth as his consciousness fled. Sasuke dropped to one knee, his Sharingan spinning frantically, his body locked in fight-or-flight response. Only his pride kept him conscious. His teeth gritted so hard they creaked. Kakashi staggered, his Sharingan eye bleeding tears as he forced himself to remain standing. What is this? Even Zabuza, experienced jonin and veteran of countless battles, felt his knees weaken. This wasn't killing intent. This was something beyond that, something primal. Something that spoke directly to every living thing's understanding of the pecking order. This was the presence of an apex predator. Whoa! Naruto's laugh echoed across the suddenly clear waters. Found you, demon. No more hiding. Now we fight for real. Zabuza tried to move, to attack, to do anything. His body wasn't responding properly. The pressure from Naruto's presence was physically weighing him down, making every movement feel like wading through mud. He was the demon of the mist. He'd assassinated hundreds. He'd nearly overthrown a Mizukage. He didn't fear anyone. But this thing in front of him. What are you? Zabuza demanded, genuine fear creeping into his voice. Naruto's grin widened. I already told you. I'm Naruto Uzumaki, and you're boring me with all this talking. He began walking across the water towards Zabuza, each step sending ripples across the surface. Use your strongest attack. Give me everything you've got. Make me feel something. Zabuza made his decision in a split second. Pride demanded he fight. Survival demanded he retreat. Survival won. This isn't over, monster. Zabuza snarled, his hands forming signs. Water-style water dragon. He didn't get to finish the technique. Naruto moved. One moment he was 10 meters away. The next instant he was directly in front of Zabuza. Hasaikai already mid-swing, the Kanabo coated in that same black-red lightning. Thunder Bagua. The Kanabo connected with Zabuza's crossed arms. The missing nin had managed to raise a desperate block at the last possible instant. The impact created a shockwave that flattened the water for 30 meters in every direction. Zabuza was launched backward like a cannonball, his body skipping across the water's surface before crashing into the tree line on the shore with enough force to topple 3 trees. Naruto landed on the shore, following casually, Hasaikai resting on his shoulder. Get up, demon. That couldn't have killed you. You're stronger than that, right? In the crater of broken trees, Zabuza struggled to his feet, coughing blood. Both his arms were broken. Multiple ribs were fractured. His executioner's blade had fallen somewhere in the water. He could barely stand, and the monster was walking toward him, grinning, completely uninjured. This was how he died, Zabuza realized. Not in glorious battle, not completing his ambitions. Killed by some freak of nature disguised as a Konoha Jinin. Zabuza-sama! A new voice cut through the air. A figure appeared on a tree branch, small, wearing a hunter nin mask, moving with incredible speed. Haku. His tool, his weapon, his companion. Don't interfere! Zabuza tried to shout, but his broken ribs made it come out as a wheeze. Haku ignored the order, launching senbon needles at precise points on Zabuza's neck. The missing nin's body went limp, entering a false death state that perfectly mimicked actual death. I'm a tracker from the hidden mist, Haku announced, his voice feminine despite the masculine mask. This criminal is my target. I'll be taking the body. Naruto's eyes narrowed. His observation haki, the ability to sense living things, to feel their emotions and intentions, told him everything he needed to know. The masked ninja was lying. Zabuza wasn't dead. This was a rescue attempt. How interesting. Whoa! You're trying to save him. Naruto laughed, pointing aside at Haku. I can feel your intentions. You're worried about him, scared for him. His grin widened. You're strong, aren't you? Stronger than you're pretending to be. Haku tensed, his hand moving toward more Senbon. Kakashi appeared behind Naruto in a blur, his Sharingan spinning. Stand down, Naruto. Tracker ninja have authority to collect bodies. That's protocol. I don't care about protocol, Naruto shot back. I care about strong opponents. And this one. He pointed at Haku. This one is hiding their true strength. I want to fight them. Haku calculated quickly. The monster had defeated Zabuza-sama in seconds. Fighting now would be suicide. Escape was the only option. Perhaps another time, Haku said, ice already forming around his feet. Secret technique. Ice mirrors. Mirrors of pure ice materialized around Haku and Zabuza's body, reflecting each other in an infinite loop. Haku stepped into the mirrors and vanished, taking Zabuza with him in a transportation technique that covered dozens of miles in seconds. Naruto stared at the vanishing ice, his grin fading into disappointment. They ran away. Boring. He turned to Kakashi. See, I was right to want to finish the fight. Now they escaped. And Zabuza is severely injured, meaning he won't be a threat for days at minimum, Kakashi countered, trying to put a positive spin on the situation. That's a successful defense of our client. That's a boring conclusion, Naruto complained. I wanted to see what the masked one could do. They smelled like ice and bloodlust. That could have been interesting. On the boat, Sakura was regaining consciousness, groaning as awareness returned. Tazuna was still out cold. Sasuke had managed to stand again, his Sharingan finally deactivating, his body shaking from the exertion of resisting Naruto's haki. What was that? Sasuke demanded, his voice harsh. That pressure. It wasn't chakra. What was it? Naruto glanced at him. That was me getting excited. That's what happens when my willpower manifests physically. Don't worry, Uchiha. If you get strong enough, maybe you'll learn to do it too. He laughed again. Though probably not. Wororo. Kakashi helped the ferryman restart their journey to shore, his mind processing everything he'd witnessed. Naruto had a form of power completely separate from chakra. He'd driven off an A-rank missing nin in seconds, and he'd done it while barely trying. The mission was supposed to be educational, a learning experience for the genin. Instead, it was becoming a case of exactly how vast the gap was between Naruto and everyone else in the known world. They reached Tazuna's house without further incident, the bridge builder having regained consciousness, and immediately started drinking heavily to cope with what he'd witnessed. Tazuna's daughter Tsunami welcomed them with cautious hospitality, her young son Inari watching the strange shinobi team with wide eyes, especially the giant horned boy with the massive club. That night, while the team settled in, Naruto stood outside staring at the ocean, Hasaikai planted in the ground beside him. Kakashi approached carefully. You could have killed Zabuza. Of course I could have, Naruto said without looking over. I could kill everyone I've met so far. That's not the point. Then what is the point? Finding someone who can actually challenge me, Naruto said, his voice unusually serious. Finding a fight that makes my blood boil, that pushes me to my limits, that reminds me I'm alive. He turned to face Kakashi, his eyes burning with intensity. This world is full of weaklings playing at war. I want the real thing. I want battles that shake the earth. I want to create a war so massive that only the truly strong survive. That's insane, Kakashi said quietly. That's honest, Naruto countered. Everyone else pretends they want peace while secretly craving violence. I'm just willing to admit what I am, a warrior who lives for combat, a king who demands worthy subjects or worthy enemies. He grinned again. And right now, Copy Ninja, this world is disappointing me. But that masked warrior, they might be interesting. When they come back, and they will come back to save their precious Zabuza, I'm going to make them fight me seriously. Kakashi wanted to argue, to explain the value of restraint, of measured response, of not treating every encounter as a potential death match. But looking into Naruto's eyes, he realized the fundamental truth. This boy didn't think like a normal person. Couldn't think like a normal person. His entire worldview was built around strength, combat, and dominance. Trying to change that would be like trying to teach a shark to be vegetarian. Get some sleep, Kakashi said instead. We're guarding the bridge construction site tomorrow. Worororo! Finally, More chances for strong enemies to appear. Naruto's mood instantly improved. Maybe this Kaido has hired an army. That could be fun. Kakashi walked back inside, leaving Naruto to his ocean gazing. Tomorrow was going to be complicated. Zabuza woke up in agony, every nerve ending screaming. His arms were set in splints, his ribs wrapped in bandages, his entire body a map of bruises and fractures. Haku sat beside his bed, applying medical herbs with practiced efficiency. How bad? Zabuza croaked. Both arms fractured in multiple places, Haku reported clinically, though his voice held notes of concern. 7 broken ribs, severe internal bruising. You'll need at least a week before you can fight effectively. I don't have a week. Kaido is paying for results. Zabuza-sama, that boy. Haku hesitated. I've fought Jonin. I've fought Kekkei Genkai users. I've never felt power like that. When he released that pressure, I could barely breathe, and I was meters away. He's a monster, Zabuza said flatly. Not human. Can't be human. No human has skin that hard, strength that overwhelming. He tried to sit up, failed, and fell back with a grunt of pain. Which means we need a different strategy. We can't beat him in direct combat. I could use my ice mirrors to isolate the others, Haku suggested. Keep the monsters separated while we complete the mission. He'll just break through your mirrors like they're paper, Zabuza said. I saw him move. I felt his strength. Your ice wouldn't slow him down for 5 seconds. Then what do we do? Zabuza was silent for a long moment. We complete the mission anyway. We have to. If we fail, Kaido won't pay, and we need that money. But we do it smart. We attack when the monster is distracted. We use hostages if necessary. We exploit every weakness. And if there are no weaknesses, then we die trying, Zabuza said grimly, because that's what tools do. They complete their purpose or break in the attempt. Haku looked down at his hands, at the ice crystals forming around his fingers. He trained his entire life for combat, developed his Kekkei Genkai into a lethal weapon, became Zabuza's perfect tool, but against Naruto Uzumaki, he felt like a child with a wooden sword facing a dragon. The bridge construction site was massive, stretching across the bay toward the mainland. Dozens of workers swarmed the structure, laying supports, welding beams, creating what would eventually become the Great Naruto Bridge, though none of them knew that name yet. Team 7 took up positions around the site. Kakashi monitored the perimeter. Sasuke practiced his chakra control by walking on vertical supports. Sakura reviewed medical scrolls, determined to make herself useful somehow. And Naruto sat on the highest point of the bridge, Hasaikai across his lap, watching the fog roll in. They're coming today, he announced suddenly. I can feel them approaching. Their bloodlust is delicious. Kakashi's eye narrowed. You can sense them from that distance? I can sense everything within several miles, Naruto said casually. It's one of my abilities, observation haki. I can feel living presences, predict attacks before they happen, sense emotions and intentions. It's how I knew the masked warrior was lying about killing Zabuza. Another ability Kakashi hadn't known about. How many powers did this boy have? The fog thickened, rolling across the bridge like a living thing. The workers began to panic, recognizing the signature mist of Zabuza Momochi. Everyone off the bridge, Kakashi ordered. Civilians evacuate immediately. The workers fled, leaving Team 7 alone on the structure. The fog became so dense that visibility dropped to mere feet. Hidden mist jutsu, Zabuza's voice echoed from everywhere and nowhere. Let's try this again, Konoha Ninja, but this time, I've brought reinforcements. Haku appeared from the mist, surrounded by dozens of ice mirrors that floated in the air, creating a dome-like prison around Sasuke and Sakura. Secret technique, crystal ice mirrors. Sasuke barely had time to activate his Sharingan before Haku entered the mirrors, his reflection appearing in all of them simultaneously, moving at speeds that made tracking impossible. Senbon needles flew from multiple angles, each one aimed with lethal precision. Sakura tried to dodge, to defend, but she was outmatched and she knew it. Several needles struck her arms and legs, targeting pressure points, numbing limbs. Sasuke fared better, his Sharingan tracking some of the projectiles, but even he couldn't keep up with attacks coming from every direction at once. Naruto watched from his perch, making no move to help. Kakashi appeared beside him. Aren't you going to? Why should I? Naruto interrupted. They wanted to be ninja, right? Let them fight. Let them feel real combat. If they can't handle this, they're useless anyway. They'll die, then they're weak. Naruto's voice was harsh. The weak don't deserve protection. They deserve to either get stronger or get eliminated. That's how the world works, Kakashi. Inside the ice mirror prison, Sasuke was struggling. His Sharingan could see the attacks coming, but his body couldn't keep up. Haku was simply too fast. Blood dripped from a dozen shallow cuts. Sakura was already unconscious. Too many pressure points struck. Sasuke's mind raced. He needed more speed, more power, more something. The frustration burned in his chest, familiar and hated. Once again, he was too weak. Once again, strength beyond his reach was mocking him. Naruto yawned. Boring. The masked warrior isn't even trying. He raised his voice, addressing the ice mirrors. Oi, ice user! Stop playing with them and fight me instead. Show me what you can really do. The attacks paused. Haku's voice emerged from the mirrors, multiple reflections speaking simultaneously. You want to fight? Then come into my domain. Let me show you the power of my bloodline limit. Whoa, finally! Naruto leaped from his perch, landing heavily enough to crack the bridge supports, and strode toward the ice mirror dome. Clear out, Uchiha. This fight is mine. Sasuke wanted to argue, to prove he could handle it, but his pride warred with his survival instinct. The latter won. He grabbed Sakura's unconscious form and stumbled out of the ice prison just before Naruto stepped inside. The ice mirrors reformed around Naruto, trapping him in their crystalline dome. Haku's reflections surrounded him, dozens of images moving in perfect synchronization. My ice is as hard as steel, Haku announced. No one has ever broken free from my crystal ice mirrors. You'll die here, monster, pierced by 1,000 needles. Naruto looked around at the mirrors, at the reflected images, and grinned widely. Your ice is as hard as steel? How interesting. He raised one fist, coating it in black armament haki, because my fist is harder than anything. He punched. The mirror in front of him exploded into powder, not cracked, not shattered, obliterated completely. Haku's eyes widened behind his mask. That shouldn't be possible. His ice was reinforced with chakra, denser than normal ice, capable of stopping kunai and even some jutsu. Naruto punched again, and again, and again. Each punch destroyed a mirror completely. In 5 seconds, half the dome was gone. Whoa, is this your bloodline limit? Is this what you were hiding? Disappointing. Naruto's laughter boomed. I thought you'd be special, but you're just another weakling with a fancy technique. Haku felt panic rising. This wasn't possible. No one could destroy his mirrors this easily. He launched a barrage of senbon from all remaining mirrors, hundreds of needles converging on Naruto from every angle. Every single one bounced off Naruto's skin harmlessly, clattering to the ground like rain. My turn, Naruto said, and his body began to change. Blue scales spread across his skin, covering his arms, his chest, his face. His horns grew longer, thicker, more prominent. A massive tail emerged from his lower back, covered in azure scales that glittered like sapphires. His muscles bulged, his height increasing by another foot, his frame becoming even more imposing. The human-beast hybrid form of the azure dragon. Haku stared in horror. This wasn't just unusual strength or tough skin. This was a transformation, a full-body modification that radiated power. What are you? I'm the man who'll become the strongest, Naruto roared, and his voice carried physical weight that cracked the remaining ice mirrors. And you're about to learn what that means. He opened his mouth wide and inhaled deeply, his chest expanding impossibly far. Haku recognized the motion, a preparation for some kind of technique. He tried to retreat into the mirrors, to escape, to blast breath. A concentrated beam of pure heat erupted from Naruto's mouth, a laser-like column of fire that reached temperatures exceeding normal flames by orders of magnitude. The attack was Kaido's signature move, the Azure Dragon's ultimate range technique. The remaining ice mirrors vaporized instantly, not even lasting long enough to melt. The bridge supports in the path of the blast began to glow red, metal warping from the heat. The air itself rippled. Haku barely dodged, using every ounce of his speed to avoid the attack's path. The heat singed his clothes even meters away. The blast breath carved a glowing furrow across the bridge for 50 meters before Naruto closed his mouth, the attack ending as abruptly as it began. Smoke rose from the superheated metal. The smell of ozone filled the air. Haku landed on the bridge railing, breathing hard, his mask slightly cracked from the heat. He'd never faced anything like this, never even imagined something like this existed. That's better! Naruto laughed, his hybrid form rippling with energy. You dodged. That means you're faster than I thought. Do it again, keep dodging. Make this interesting. Before Haku could respond, Zabuza appeared from the mist, his executioner's blade, hastily repaired, swinging toward Kakashi in a desperate attack meant to create an opening. Kakashi blocked with a kunai, the impact sending sparks flying. Zabuza, you're not healed. You should retreat. Shut up, Zabuza snarled. I'm the demon of the mist. I don't retreat. Then you're an idiot, Naruto called out, his attention shifting from Haku to Zabuza. Fighting when you're injured is brave, I'll give you that. But it's also stupid. He began walking towards Zabuza, his tail swishing behind him. Let me end this quickly. Haku moved without thinking, placing himself between Naruto and Zabuza. I won't let you hurt Zabuza-sama. Naruto stopped, his expression shifting to something like interest. Oh? So he means something to you? He's not just your target or your mission. You actually care about him? Zabuza-sama gave me purpose, Haku said, his voice firm despite his fear. He gave me a reason to exist. I am his tool, his weapon. I will protect him with my life. Wororo, Naruto's laugh was genuinely delighted. You're loyal. I like that. Strong warriors should have loyal subordinates. His grin widened. So here's my offer. Ice Warrior, join me instead. Become my subordinate. I'm stronger than Zabuza. I can offer you better battles, and I'm building something greater than this pathetic assassination job. Haku blinked behind his mask, completely thrown. What? You heard me. Naruto spread his arms wide, his hybrid form impressive and terrifying. Join my crew. When I create the greatest war this world has ever seen, when I separate the strong from the weak, when I conquer this boring shinobi world, I want strong warriors at my side. Warriors like you. Haku, don't listen to him. Zabuza shouted, but his voice was weak from his injuries. Haku looked between Zabuza and Naruto, his mind racing. This monster was offering recruitment instead of death. It was insane. It was impossible. It was... I refuse, Haku said quietly. I am Zabuza-sama's tool. I exist for him alone. Naruto's grin faded slightly. Disappointing. I was hoping you'd be smarter than that. He sighed dramatically. Oh well, if you won't join willingly, I'll just have to break you first, then make the offer again. He moved. Haku tried to react, to form ice, to dodge anything. Too slow. Naruto's hand, coated in armament haki, clamped around Haku's throat and lifted him off the ground. You're fast. You're skilled. Your ice technique is interesting. But you're not strong enough to refuse me. Haku struggled, ice forming around Naruto's arm, trying to freeze him, to make him release his grip. The ice shattered as soon as it touched Naruto's haki-coated skin. Join me or die, Naruto said simply. Those are your options. Haku? Zabuza tried to charge forward to save his tool, his weapon, his friend. Kakashi intercepted him. Kunai crossed against the executioner's blade. Don't! You can't beat him. You know that. Haku's vision was starting to blur from oxygen deprivation. He had seconds to decide. Join this monster and betray Zabuza-sama, or die here and leave Zabuza-sama alone. Neither option was acceptable, but one option let him live, let him continue existing. And where there was life, there was possibility. Haku gasped out, accept. Naruto's grin returned instantly. He released Haku, letting the boy drop to the bridge deck, coughing and gasping for air. Roro, smart choice. Welcome to my crew, Ice Warrior. From now on, you fight for me. Haku, no. Zabuza's voice was anguished, filled with a pain that had nothing to do with his physical injuries. Haku looked at Zabuza, his mask hiding his expression but not his voice. I'm sorry, Zabuza-sama, but I choose to live. And maybe this monster can offer something greater than either of us imagined. Before Zabuza could respond, a new voice cut through the scene. Well, what an interesting development. A short, greasy man emerged from the mist, flanked by dozens of armed thugs. Kaido, the shipping magnate, the man who'd hired Zabuza in the first place. Zabuza, you failure, Kaido sneered. You couldn't even kill one bridge builder. I'm not paying you another cent. In fact, I think I'll just have my men finish the job you couldn't do. The thugs raised their swords and crossbows, surrounding Team 7 and Zabuza. Naruto looked at them and started laughing again. Worororo! Are you serious? You think these weaklings can threaten anyone here? Kaido's confidence faltered slightly at Naruto's overwhelming presence, but greed overrode caution. I have 100 men. You're just a handful of shinobi. Kill them all. The thugs charged. Naruto didn't even bother with Hasaikai. He simply released his conqueror's haki. The wave of pressure that exploded from him was focused, concentrated, aimed entirely at the charging thugs. Black-red lightning crackled through the air. The sky darkened. Every single thug collapsed instantly, unconscious before they hit the ground. 100 men dropped like puppets with cut strings. Gado's eyes bulged. What did you? Naruto walked toward him slowly, each step deliberate, his hybrid form towering over the corrupt businessman. You're a parasite. You feed on the weak and hide behind hired strength. You have no power of your own. You're worthless. He reached out with one clawed hand and grabbed Gado by the entire head, lifting him off his feet. Please, Gado squealed. I have money. I can pay you whatever you want. I don't want your money, Naruto said, his voice cold. I want warriors. I want challenges. I want to build something greater. You're just garbage cluttering my path. He squeezed. The sound was wet and brief. Naruto dropped Gado's body and turned back to his team, his hybrid form receding, scales fading, tail shrinking back into his body until he stood in his normal, if normal could ever apply to him, human appearance. Mission complete, he announced cheerfully. The bridge builder is safe, the threat is eliminated, and I got a new subordinate. Today was productive. Kakashi stared at the carnage. 100 unconscious thugs, one very dead crime lord, Zabuza kneeling in defeat, and Haku standing uncertainly by Naruto's side. We need to report this to the Hokage, Kakashi said weakly. Go ahead, Naruto said with a laugh. Tell the old man I'm getting stronger. Tell him I'm building my crew. Tell him that one day I'm going to create a war so magnificent that it shakes this entire world. Sasuke watched from the sidelines, his Sharingan still active, his mind processing everything he'd witnessed. The transformations, the overwhelming power, the casual brutality. He needed that strength, had to obtain that strength, whatever it took. Naruto, Sasuke called out, his voice hard. Teach me, make me stronger. Naruto glanced at him, his expression considering. You want strength, Uchiha? Then earn it, stop brooding, start fighting, and maybe you'll become worth my time. He grinned. But I'll give you this much. At least you recognize your weakness. That's the first step toward power. The mission to the Land of Waves ended with Team 7 escorting Tazuna back to his house, Haku joining them as an unexpected addition, and Zabuza limping away into the mist, broken physically and emotionally. The bridge was completed weeks later, and the grateful citizens named it the Great Naruto Bridge in honor of the terrifying boy who'd saved them from Gado's tyranny. Naruto thought that was hilarious. The return to Konoha was complicated. Hiruzen Sarutobi sat in his office listening to Kakashi's report, his expression growing progressively more grave with each detail. So Naruto recruited an enemy shinobi to his personal service, Hiruzen summarized. Killed a civilian businessman, regardless of how corrupt said businessman was. Displayed multiple unknown abilities, including a transformation and some form of pressure technique that incapacitates opponents, and is now openly discussing plans to create the greatest war in history. That's an accurate summary, yes, Kakashi confirmed. And you couldn't stop any of this? Respectfully, Hokage-sama, no one could have stopped any of this, Kakashi said bluntly. Naruto is operating on a completely different level than conventional shinobi. His powers don't follow normal rules. His strength is beyond anything I've encountered outside of you and perhaps the other Kage. Hiruzen rubbed his temples. And this Haku boy? Currently in Anbu custody for processing, Kakashi said, though Naruto has made it clear he considers Haku his subordinate and will be displeased if we treat him as a prisoner. He doesn't get to dictate how we handle enemy shinobi, Hiruzen said firmly. With respect, Hokage-sama, yes he does, Kakashi countered. Because if we imprison Haku against Naruto's wishes, Naruto will simply break him out and likely demolish whatever facility we're keeping him in, possibly the entire Anbu headquarters. Hiruzen was silent for a long moment. The problem with Naruto had always been one of control, specifically the complete lack thereof. The boy answered to no authority, acknowledged no power greater than his own, and had the strength to back up that arrogance. What do you recommend? Hiruzen asked finally. Accept Haku into the village as a probationary genin assigned to Team 7, Kakashi said, Keep him close where we can monitor him, use him as a potential leverage point for influencing Naruto, and hope that having subordinates actually makes Naruto more manageable, not less. It was a terrible plan with enormous risks, but it was also the only practical option. Approved, Hiruzen said heavily, but Haku will be under constant surveillance. Any suspicious activity, and he's imprisoned regardless of Naruto's objections. Understood. After Kakashi left, Hiruzen sat alone in his office, staring at the village through his window. Somewhere out there, Naruto Uzumaki was walking the streets, a living weapon of unimaginable power wrapped in the body of a 12-year-old boy. The question wasn't whether Naruto would eventually become a threat to the established order. That was inevitable. The question was whether anyone could survive when he finally decided to act on his ambitions. The Chunin exams were announced 3 months later. It was a joint examination hosted by Konoha, designed to showcase the village's strength to visiting dignitaries and foreign ninja. Teams from every major village would compete in tests of skill, intelligence, and combat prowess. When Kakashi nominated Team 7 for participation, the other Jonin instructors thought he'd lost his mind. Genin teams typically waited at least a year before attempting the Chunin exams. Team 7 had been together for less than 4 months, but Kakashi knew the truth. Keeping Naruto in Genin-level missions was becoming impossible. The boy needed stronger opponents, greater challenges, or he'd create his own entertainment, and that would be catastrophic. Better to point him at the Chunin exams and let him demolish the competition in a controlled environment. When Kakashi told Team 7 about the nomination, reactions were mixed. Sakura was nervous but determined, studying constantly, preparing for whatever written tests might be involved. Sasuke was coldly eager, seeing it as an opportunity to prove his strength and narrow the gap between himself and Naruto. Haku was quietly competent, his ice techniques and combat experience making him a valuable addition despite his short time with the team. And Naruto laughed his booming laugh and declared, "Finally! Strong opponents from other villages. This will be interesting." The first exam was the written test, held in a large classroom filled with genin from across the shinobi world. The test was intentionally difficult, filled with questions requiring intelligence-gathering skills and creative problem-solving. Naruto stared at the test paper for approximately 10 seconds, then wrote, "Strength is the only answer," across every question and went to sleep. The proctors were torn between disqualifying him and simply being too afraid to approach. He passed anyway when the 10th question was revealed to be a test of courage, not knowledge. The second exam took place in the Forest of Death, a massive training ground filled with dangerous wildlife and even more dangerous rival teams. Teams needed to collect both heaven and earth scrolls to pass, creating an environment that encouraged combat and theft. Team 7 entered the forest at noon. They exited 3 hours later with 17 scroll sets, their own plus 16 stolen from other teams. What happened in those 3 hours became legendary among the Chunin exam participants. Multiple teams reported encountering a horned demon who defeated entire squads with casual backhand slaps. Others spoke of a boy who transformed into a dragon and terrorized the forest. A few claimed they'd been defeated by someone's overwhelming presence alone, knocked unconscious without even being touched. By the end of day 1, half the participating teams had been eliminated, most of them by Team 7, specifically by Naruto. The Forest of Death's most dangerous moment came when they encountered Orochimaru. The Sannin had infiltrated the exams with his own agenda, seeking Sasuke Uchiha as a potential vessel for his soul transfer technique. He'd killed a grass genin and taken her appearance, stalking Team 7 through the forest. When he finally revealed himself, his presence was overwhelming, killing intent that made even experienced Chunin freeze, power that radiated like a physical force, eyes that promised death. Naruto looked at him and grinned. "Whoa! A Sannin! One of the legendary 3! This will be fun!" Orochimaru's eyes narrowed behind his stolen face. "Such confidence from a mere genin. Let me show you the difference in our power." He began forming hand signs. Summoning Jutsu. A massive snake exploded from the earth, its body as thick as a house, its head towering over the trees. Manda, the king of snakes, Orochimaru's most powerful summon, the serpent's eyes fixed on Team 7, and its voice boomed across the forest. Orochimaru, you dare summon me for mere children? This is beneath me! Just kill them, Orochimaru said dismissively. Manda's jaws opened, revealing fangs the size of swords preparing to swallow Team 7 whole. Naruto's grin widened even further. A snake? You brought a snake to fight me! Whoa! Let me show you what a real monster looks like. His body began to change, but this time he didn't stop at his hybrid form. He kept going, pushing the transformation to its absolute limit. His body elongated, stretched, expanded. Blue scales covered every inch of his flesh. His form grew massive, serpentine, rising higher and higher into the air. Whiskers sprouted from his snout. 4 clawed limbs emerged. His horns became antlers. The Azure Dragon, full transformation. Kaido's ultimate form, Naruto in his dragon form, was over 100 feet long, his body coiling through the air like a living storm cloud. Blue scales glittering like sapphires, eyes burning with predatory intelligence. Manda, the king of snakes, looked up at the Azure Dragon and felt something he hadn't experienced in centuries. Fear. What the hell is that? Manda hissed. I am a dragon! Naruto's voice was magnified by his transformation, booming across the entire forest. And you're just a snake! He descended. Manda tried to strike, to bite, to wrap his body around this new threat. Naruto's jaws clamped around Manda's head and bit, clean, through the king of snakes' head separated from his body in a spray of blood. The massive serpent's form thrashed once, twice, then collapsed, already dispelling back to wherever summons went when killed. The entire sequence took less than 5 seconds. Naruto landed in his dragon form, coiling around the trees, his eyes fixed on Orochimaru. You're next, Snake Man! Fight me seriously! Orochimaru's composure cracked. That was Manda. Manda. The summon he'd spent decades forming a contract with, powerful enough to fight other Seinen-level opponents, dead in 5 seconds. Marvelous, Orochimaru whispered, his fear transforming into obsessive fascination. Such power! Such a body! I must have it! You'll be my perfect vessel! He launched forward with incredible speed, his neck extending impossibly, his mouth opening to reveal a hidden blade. Naruto didn't even bother dodging. In his dragon form, Orochimaru's attack was like a mosquito trying to bite a tiger, but the Sannin had one more trick. His hands formed seals even as he attacked. Curse mark! Naruto moved faster than Orochimaru could react. His massive tail whipped around, coated in armament haki, the black hardening visible even on his blue scales. The tail caught Orochimaru midair, but Naruto wasn't satisfied with just hitting him. He shifted partially back to his hybrid form, maintaining his massive size but freeing his arms. He grabbed Hasaikai, which had been growing proportionally with his transformation. The kanabo was now the size of a building. Naruto hefted it with both hands, the weapon coating itself in crackling black-red lightning. Advanced Conqueror's Haki, the technique where Haki projected without even touching the target. Ragnarok! He swung. The kanabo passed several feet above Orochimaru's position. The shockwave alone created a crater 30 meters across. The air pressure blast drove Orochimaru into the ground with enough force to shatter every bone in his body. Trees were ripped from the earth. The forest of death itself seemed to scream. When the dust settled, Orochimaru lay broken in the bottom of the crater, blood pooling around him. His stolen body mangled beyond recognition, but he was still alive. Barely. His regeneration techniques were already working, slowly knitting flesh back together. Impossible, Orochimaru wheezed. No genin should have this power. Naruto reverted to his normal form, landing lightly beside the crater. I'm not a genin snake. I'm the strongest, and you're boring me already. He turned away dismissively. If you survive, get stronger and come back. Then maybe you'll be worth killing properly. He walked back to his team, leaving Orochimaru in the crater. Sasuke was staring, his Sharingan spinning frantically, having recorded the entire battle. A Sannin, one of the legendary 3 shinobi. Defeated in seconds. The gap wasn't closing. If anything, it was getting wider. Haku simply nodded, as if confirming something he'd already suspected. His decision to join Naruto was looking wiser every day. Sakura was hyperventilating, trying to process what she'd witnessed. Monsters. They were fighting actual monsters now. Let's go, Naruto said casually. We have scrolls to turn in, and I'm hoping the next exam has actual strong opponents. That snake was disappointing. They reached the tower at the center of the forest and submitted their scrolls. The Proctors took one look at Team 7, completely uninjured, carrying multiple extra scroll sets, radiating an aura of violence, and decided not to ask questions. The preliminaries would be held tomorrow. Naruto was already anticipating the fights. The preliminary rounds were necessary because too many teams had passed the second exam. Nearly 30 teams had survived the Forest of Death, meaning individual combat rounds were needed to reduce the numbers. The matches would be one-on-one fights displayed on a massive board, randomly selected, fought until one participant surrendered, died, or was rendered unable to continue. Naruto stood in the arena balcony with the other participants, watching the board cycle through names. The first match was announced: Sasuke Uchiha vs Yoroi Akado. Sasuke descended to the arena floor, his movements controlled but eager. This was his chance to prove he'd grown stronger, that the gap between him and Naruto was closing. Yoroi was a chakra-absorbing specialist, his hands glowing with the technique that let him drain his opponent's energy through physical contact. The match began. Sasuke attacked with taijutsu, his Sharingan tracking Yoroi's movements, predicting his counters. But every time he made contact, he felt his chakra draining, his strength fading. He switched tactics, using kunai and shuriken to maintain distance. Yoroi defended easily, closing the gap, reaching for contact. Sasuke's frustration grew. He was faster, more skilled, but the chakra drain was crippling his options. From the balcony, Naruto yawned loudly. Boring! Uchiha, stop playing around and just hit him harder. Your Sharingan lets you see everything he's doing, so exploit it. Sasuke's jaw clenched. Easy for Naruto to say when he was a literal monster who didn't need tactics. But he was right. The Sharingan showed him everything. He just needed to move faster than Yoroi could react. Sasuke channeled all his remaining chakra into his legs, using every bit of speed he could muster. He vanished from Yoroi's view and appeared behind him, kunai drawn. The blade struck Yoroi in the back of the neck, not killing but incapacitating. Yoroi collapsed, unconscious. Winner! Sasuke Uchiha! Sasuke looked up at the balcony where Naruto was giving him a thumbs up in that infuriating grin. The matches continued. Various genin fought with varying levels of skill. Some were impressive. Most were mediocre. None of them interested Naruto in the slightest, until the board displayed Naruto Uzumaki versus Kiba Inuzuka. Kiba stood on the opposite end of the arena, his nin dog Akamaru on his head, his confidence high. He'd seen Naruto's reputation but didn't believe the stories. No genin could be that strong. Finally, Naruto laughed, leaping over the balcony railing and landing with enough force to crack the stone floor. My turn. Let's see what you've got, dog boy. Kiba grinned. You're about to see why the Inuzuka clan are the best trackers and fighters in Konoha. Akamaru, let's go. The match began. Kiba immediately used his clan's signature technique, Beast Human Clone. Akamaru transformed into a copy of Kiba, creating two identical fighters. They split apart, circling Naruto from opposite directions. Fang over Fang. Both Kiba spun into drilling spirals, becoming living tornadoes of claws and teeth, attacking from multiple angles simultaneously. The technique was devastating against normal opponents. Against Naruto, it was pointless. Both drilling attacks struck Naruto's body simultaneously. Clang! Clang! The sound of metal hitting metal rang out. Neither attack penetrated even a millimeter. Kiba and Akamaru bounced off Naruto's skin like rubber balls, landing in confused heaps. What the hell? Kiba shouted. That's our strongest attack! Whoa! You call that your strongest attack? That was barely a tickle. Naruto pointed at Kiba. Try again, this time with feeling. Kiba's pride was wounded. He channeled more chakra, spinning faster, adding more power to the technique. Fang over Fang! Again, the drilling attack struck Naruto. Again, it bounced off harmlessly. Naruto didn't even move from his position. He just stood there, hands on his hips, laughing. Is that really all you've got? Come on! I haven't even started fighting yet. Kiba was panting, his chakra depleting rapidly. Nothing was working. It was like trying to damage solid steel with paper cuts. Naruto's expression shifted to disappointment. You're boring me, dog boy. Let me show you how a real fight ends. Well, he took one step forward. Just one. The floor cracked beneath his foot. The air pressure from his movement created a small shockwave. Kiba flinched backward, instinct screaming danger. Naruto didn't use Hasaikai, didn't transform, didn't even use Haki. He just flicked Kiba's forehead with one finger. The impact launched Kiba backward like a cannonball, his body flying across the arena and slamming into the wall hard enough to embed him several inches into the stone. Akamaru yelped and immediately dispelled his transformation, cowering. Winner, Naruto Uzumaki. The match had lasted 15 seconds. Naruto walked back to the balcony, shaking his head. Boring. Is everyone in these exams this weak? Where are the strong opponents I was promised? The remaining participants stared at him in horror. That casual strength, that overwhelming difference in power. How were they supposed to compete against that? The matches continued, but everyone was now acutely aware that Naruto Uzumaki was in a completely different league. When the preliminaries ended, the matchups for the finals were announced. The finals would be held in 1 month, giving participants time to train and recover. The tournament bracket displayed on the wall included several notable matchups, but everyone's attention focused on one name, Naruto Uzumaki versus Neji Hyuga. Neji, the genius of the Hyuga clan, looked at Naruto across the arena balcony. His Byakugan activated, veins bulging around his eyes as he analyzed his future opponent. What he saw defied explanation. Naruto's chakra system was visible but wrong, overlaid with something else, something that wasn't chakra but radiated similar energy. And his body, the density was impossible. Bones like steel, muscles that contained more power than should fit in a human frame. Fate has decided our match, Neji said coldly, and fate decrees that I will win. Naruto's laugh boomed across the arena. Woro! Fate! Fate! The weak cling to fate as an excuse for their weakness. Strength determines everything, Hyuga, and I'm going to prove it by crushing you in the finals. The crowd murmured. The tension was palpable. Everyone knew this match would be memorable. The month of training passed quickly for most participants. They worked on new techniques, refined their strategies, consulted with their Jonin instructors. Naruto spent the month finding increasingly dangerous opponents to fight just for entertainment. He challenged Jonin to sparring matches. He fought Anbu operatives who were willing to test themselves against the monster Genin. He even convinced Kakashi to arrange a meeting with Guy Might, the taijutsu specialist Jonin. That particular fight lasted 6 minutes and ended with Guy unconscious, all 8 gates sealed closed by the trauma of taking a direct thunder bagua to the chest. By the time the finals arrived, Naruto's reputation had grown to the point where civilian spectators and visiting dignitaries specifically requested to watch him fight. The Chunin exam finals were held in a massive stadium filled with thousands of spectators. The Hokage sat in a special box alongside the Kazekage, who was secretly Orochimaru in disguise, though no one knew that yet, and various nobles and dignitaries. The first few matches were entertaining enough. Sasuke defeated his opponent with a new technique he developed, the Chidori, taught to him by Kakashi, though weaker than the Jonin's version. Haku defeated his opponent by creating an ice prison and methodically removing all possible escape routes until his opponent surrendered. Sakura lost her match but fought bravely, her medical ninjutsu training allowing her to heal herself mid-combat and extend the fight longer than expected. And then it was time for the match everyone was waiting for. Naruto Uzumaki vs. Neji Hyuga. The crowd roared as both fighters descended to the arena floor. The noise was deafening, thousands of voices creating a wall of sound. Neji stood in his gentle fist stance, Byakugan active, his expression cold and confident. You may be strong, Naruto Uzumaki, but strength alone cannot overcome fate. I was born a genius of the Hyuga clan. You are a monster, yes, but monsters can be defeated. Fate has decreed my victory. Naruto planted Hasaikai in the ground and leaned on it casually, grinning. You know what's boring, Neji? People who blame everything on fate. Oh, I lost because fate decided it. Oh, I can't change because fate says so. Pathetic. He pushed off Hasaikai and took a step forward, his presence expanding. Let me teach you something, Hyuga. Fate is for the weak. People who can't accept that they're not strong enough create this concept of destiny to avoid taking responsibility. But the strong, we make our own fate. We break the chains that bind us. We dominate the world through pure strength. The crowd was silent now, hanging on every word. So let me ask you, Neji, are you going to hide behind your precious fate? Or are you going to fight me with everything you've got and prove your strength? Neji's jaw clenched. You understand nothing about the Hyuga clan, about the burdens we carry, about I don't care about your burdens, Naruto interrupted. Everyone has burdens. Everyone has pain. The difference is whether you use that pain to get stronger or whether you use it as an excuse to give up. Now stop talking and fight me. The proctor signaled the start of the match. Neji moved immediately, his speed impressive, his gentle fist technique activated. You will learn that your strength means nothing against the Hyuga fighting style. His fingers struck out in precise patterns, targeting Naruto's Tenketsu points. The chakra pathway nodes that, when sealed, would prevent chakra use. His fingers struck Naruto's chest, arms, and shoulders in rapid succession. 64 precise strikes in 3 seconds. Every single Tenketsu point in Naruto's upper body targeted and sealed. Neji leaped backward, his Byakugan confirming his strikes had landed perfectly. It's over. With your chakra pathway sealed, you cannot. Whoa! Naruto's laugh cut him off. You think sealing my chakra points matters? My strength doesn't come from chakra, idiot. He flexed and the armament haki coating his skin became briefly visible as a black sheen. My body is a weapon by itself. Chakra is just a bonus. Now let me show you what happens when you try to stop me with your gentle finger poking. Naruto moved, not particularly fast by his standards, just a casual walk forward. Neji attacked again, striking at more Tenketsu points, trying to seal everything he could. Every strike landed perfectly. None of them did anything. Naruto's skin was too dense. The strikes that should have penetrated and disrupted his chakra system simply bounced off like hitting stone. Impossible, Neji whispered. The gentle fist never fails. Your technique is weak, Naruto said flatly. Not weak in concept, weak in execution. You're not strong enough to penetrate my skin. Your gentle lap fist needs to be a lot harder to damage me. He reached out with one hand and grabbed Neji's wrist before the Hyuga could retreat. My turn. Naruto didn't use his full strength. That would be lethal. Instead, he used about 10% of his casual power. He swung Neji in a wide arc and threw him. The Hyuga genius sailed through the air, his body spinning, completely unable to control his trajectory. He crashed into the arena wall with enough force to crack the stone, creating a web of fractures. Neji forced himself upright, blood dripping from his mouth. His Byakugan was still active, still analyzing, still trying to find a weakness. There was none. You speak of fate, Neji, Naruto called across the arena. You speak of destiny and burdens and limitations, but you know what I see when I look at you? Wasted potential. He began walking toward Neji again, his steps measured, deliberate. You have the Byakugan, one of the most powerful bloodline limits in the world. You have the gentle fist, a technique that can kill with a touch if mastered. You have the genetics of one of Konoha's founding clans. And what do you do with all that power? Naruto's voice rose to a shout. You whine about fate. You limit yourself with this victim mentality. You refuse to grow beyond what you think you're destined to be. Pathetic. Neji's face twisted with rage. You don't understand. The Hyuga clan. I don't care about your clan, Naruto roared. I care about strength. And right now, you're showing me nothing but weakness disguised as philosophy. He picked up Hasaikai, the massive kanabo resting easily on his shoulder. I'm going to give you one more chance, Hyuga. Attack me with everything you have. Forget about fate. Forget about destiny. Just fight with pure instinct and strength. Show me that you're worthy of being called a genius. Neji stood, his body shaking, whether from rage, pain, or something else. Even he wasn't sure. Everything he'd believed, everything he'd built his identity around, was being verbally demolished by this monster. But somewhere deep inside, beneath the anger and the pain, a small voice asked, what if he's right? Neji made his decision. He charged forward, channeling every bit of chakra he had remaining. 8 trigrams, 64 palms. His hands blurred into motion, striking with desperate speed, targeting every point he could reach. Naruto stood still, letting the attack land, feeling the impacts patter against his skin like raindrops, the technique completed. 64 strikes delivered with perfect precision. None of them had penetrated even a millimeter. Is that really your best? Naruto asked softly. Neji's arms dropped to his sides, exhausted, defeated. Not physically, he could still stand, could still theoretically fight, but spiritually he had nothing left. I can't beat you, Neji said, his voice hollow. You're right. I'm weak. Too weak to overcome fate. Too weak to change anything. Wrong. Naruto's shout made Neji's head snap up. You're not too weak. You're just limiting yourself. You chose to be weak by accepting that fate nonsense, but you can also choose to be strong by rejecting it. Naruto hefted Hasekai, coating it in black armament haki. I'm going to hit you now, Neji. Not to kill you, to wake you up. This is going to hurt. A lot. But when you recover, you'll have a choice. Accept your weakness and fade into mediocrity, or reject your limitations and become strong. Your choice. He swung. Vajra arrow. The kanabo didn't even touch Neji. It passed several feet above his position. But the air pressure blast created by the swing was enough to launch the Hyuga genius backward with tremendous force. Neji's body flew through the air, crashed through the arena wall completely, and skidded to a stop in the stadium seating area, unconscious before he landed. The crowd was silent for a moment, then erupted in deafening cheers. Naruto turned toward the Kage box and pointed Hasekai directly at it. Who's next? Send someone strong! Give me a real challenge! I'm bored with these weaklings! In the Kage box, Hiruzen sighed deeply. The crowd thought it was showmanship, bravado, standard Chunin exam posturing. He knew better. Naruto wasn't posturing. He was genuinely disappointed that no one could match his strength. And that was terrifying. The Chunin exams finals continued, but everyone knew the highlight was over. Naruto's match had been the spectacle. Everything else was just going through the motions. When the tournament concluded, several genin were promoted to Chunin based on their performance, strategic thinking, and leadership qualities. Naruto was not promoted. Not because he lacked strength, that was obvious to everyone, but because the concept of Naruto following orders, accepting missions below his interest level, or integrating into the normal Chunin command structure was laughable. He didn't care. Ranks were meaningless to him anyway. What mattered was that he'd proven his dominance, again, and the word was spreading beyond Konoha's borders. The beast of Konoha, the horned demon, the azure dragon. Naruto Uzumaki was becoming a legend, and legends attracted attention. Some of it wanted to recruit him, some wanted to use him, some wanted to kill him. All of it would eventually find him. And when it did, the shinobi world would learn what true overwhelming force looked like. 2 weeks after the Chunin exams, word reached Konoha that Sasuke Uchiha had defected. The news sent shockwaves through the village. The last loyal Uchiha, abandoning his home, seeking power elsewhere, specifically seeking Orochimaru, the Sound Four, Orochimaru's personal guard, had appeared at Konoha's borders and convinced Sasuke to join them, promising power beyond what Konoha could offer, the strength to finally surpass his brother and avenge his clan. Sasuke, consumed by his obsession, had accepted. A retrieval team was assembled immediately. Shikamaru Nara was placed in command, a newly promoted Chunin with tactical genius. His team included Choji Akimichi, Kiba Inuzuka, and Neji Hyuga, all skilled fighters, but Hiruzen made one additional assignment. Bring Naruto, the Hokage ordered. He's the only one with the power to match Orochimaru's forces if it comes to combat. Kakashi had argued against it. Naruto doesn't care about Sasuke. He's made that clear. Why would he help retrieve him? Because Naruto craves strong opponents, Hiruzen said, and Sasuke is getting stronger by seeking Orochimaru. If Sasuke succeeds, he might finally become the challenge Naruto wants. Tell him that. Frame it as protecting his future entertainment. It was manipulative, cynical, and completely accurate. When Kakashi presented the mission to Naruto, the boy's eyes lit up with interest. The Uchiha is going to get stronger? He's finally taking his weakness seriously? Naruto's grin widened. Good. I want him to get strong. Then when I crush him later, it'll actually be satisfying. He hefted Hasekai. Let's go bring him back so he can finish his training and give me a real fight. The retrieval team moved out at maximum speed, tracking Sasuke's trail through the forest. The Sound Four had a head start, but they were carrying Sasuke in a sealed barrel to complete his curse mark transformation, which slowed them down. The chase led to the Valley of the End, the massive waterfall where statues of Hashirama Senju and Madara Uchiha faced each other across the canyon. A memorial to the legendary battle that had helped found Konoha. Sasuke stood atop Madara's statue, his curse mark active and spreading across his body in dark patterns, his eyes burning with determination and hunger for power. The retrieval team spread out, preparing to engage the Sound Four. But Naruto leaped directly to Madara's statue, landing opposite Sasuke, Hasaikai resting on his shoulder. Worororo, there you are, Uchiha, running away to get stronger? I approve, but you're not leaving yet. Not until you show me what this new power of yours can do. Sasuke's curse mark pulsed, feeding him strength that felt intoxicating, addictive. For the first time since joining Team 7, he felt like he might actually be able to touch Naruto's level. I'm done being weak, Naruto, Sasuke said, his voice distorted slightly by the curse mark's influence. I'm done watching you dominate everything while I struggle. Orochimaru can give me the power I need, the power to kill Itachi, the power to finally stand as your equal. Equal. Naruto's laugh boomed across the valley. You think this snake's power makes you my equal? Worororo! You're delusional, Sasuke. But I like that. I like that you're finally hungry enough to chase real strength. His grin became savage. So let's test that power. Fight me right now. Show me what you've gained. Sasuke activated his Sharingan, the three tomoe spinning. The curse mark spread further, covering half his body, transforming his appearance into something more monstrous. Curse mark level 2. His body shifted, skin darkening to gray-blue, wings emerging from his back, his hair growing longer and wild. The transformation completed in seconds, and Sasuke radiated power far beyond his previous limits. Impressive, Naruto acknowledged, genuine interest in his voice. You actually look dangerous now. Come on then, attack me! Sasuke charged, his speed dramatically increased by the curse mark. He closed the distance in a heartbeat, his Chidori already formed in his hand, the lightning enhanced by the curse mark's power until it screamed with violent energy. The attack aimed directly at Naruto's heart. Naruto caught Sasuke's wrist. The Chidori blazed against his palm, lightning arcing wildly. Power enough to pierce through steel concentrated into a single point. Naruto's hand didn't even redden. Good power, Naruto said cheerfully, but not enough power. You need to be stronger, Sasuke. He yanked Sasuke forward and headbutted him. The impact sent Sasuke flying backward. His curse mark enhanced durability, the only thing preventing his skull from shattering. He crashed into Madara's statue, cracking the stone, his vision swimming. Get up! That couldn't have finished you, Naruto called. Use that Sharingan. Use that curse mark. Give me everything you've got. Sasuke forced himself upright, blood running from his nose, rage and determination burning in equal measure. He trained for this, prepared for this. This was supposed to be his moment to prove he'd grown. He formed hand signs at maximum speed. Fire style, fireball jutsu. The flames that erupted were massive, enhanced by the curse mark, hot enough to melt stone. Naruto walked through them. The fire parted around him like water around a rock. His armament haki creating an invisible barrier that rendered the heat meaningless. Boring. I've seen this technique before. Show me something new. Sasuke's mind raced. Nothing conventional would work. He needed something overwhelming, something that would force Naruto to acknowledge his strength. He gathered all the chakra he could muster, focusing it into his right hand. The Chidori formed again, but this time he channeled the curse mark's power directly into it, creating a technique that crackled with black lightning instead of blue. This is everything I have, Sasuke shouted. Black Chidori! He launched himself forward with all his speed, the curse mark's wings propelling him, the Sharingan tracking Naruto's position. The attack was his absolute strongest move, combining everything he'd learned, everything he'd gained, everything he was. Naruto watched him come, and for the first time in the fight, he actually looked impressed. Now you're getting serious! Good! Naruto's body began to shift, scales spreading across his skin, horns growing longer, his hybrid form activating. Let me show you what real power looks like, Sasuke. He hefted Hasaikai, and black-red lightning erupted across the weapon. Advanced Conqueror's haki, coating the Kanabo without touching it, creating a field of devastating energy. The sky above them literally split. A massive tear formed in the clouds, black-red lightning crackling across the gap, the visual manifestation of Naruto's overwhelming haki clashing with reality itself. Below, the retrieval team stared upward in shock. The Sound Four abandoned their fights and fled. Whatever was happening above was beyond their ability to survive. Sasuke felt it. The pressure. The overwhelming presence that made his curse mark feel like a candle next to a star. But he couldn't stop. Wouldn't stop. This was his moment. Destroyer of Death. Thunder Bagua. Naruto swung. Sasuke thrust his black Chidori forward. The attacks met midair. For one perfect instant, black lightning and blue fire enhanced lightning clashed in a point of brilliant energy. Then Naruto's Kanabo obliterated the Chidori completely, passed through Sasuke's attack like it didn't exist, and struck the Uchiha directly in the chest. The impact created a shockwave that destroyed the waterfall itself. The statues of Hashirama and Madara cracked from the force. The entire valley shook. Sasuke's curse mark shattered, the power dissolving under the overwhelming force. His wings disintegrated. His enhanced form reverted. His body launched backward like a bullet, crashing through the air, through trees, through earth. He landed 50 meters away, unconscious, his Sharingan deactivated. Every bone in his chest cracked from the impact, alive but completely defeated. Naruto landed beside Sasuke's unconscious form, his hybrid transformation fading. He looked down at the broken Uchiha and grinned. Not bad, Sasuke. Not good, but not bad. You actually made me use my haki seriously for a moment. He hefted Sasuke over his shoulder like a sack of rice. You're coming back to Konoha, and when you heal, you're going to train harder. Get stronger. Because next time we fight, I want you to actually make me bleed. He turned toward where the retrieval team was staring in shock. Mission accomplished. I've got the Uchiha. Let's go home. Shikamaru tried to speak, couldn't find words, settled for a weak thumbs up. Neji stared at the destroyed valley, at the split sky that was slowly closing, at the unconscious Sasuke who'd been defeated in seconds despite his curse mark transformation. The gap between Naruto and everyone else wasn't just vast, it was insurmountable. The return to Konoha was complicated. Sasuke was hospitalized immediately, his injury severe but not life-threatening. The curse mark was mysteriously dormant now, as if traumatized by the overwhelming force it had encountered. Orochimaru received word of the failed retrieval and Sasuke's defeat. He'd been planning to use Sasuke as his next vessel, but now the boy had been broken by that monster. Not physically, broken bodies could heal, but the Uchiha's pride, his confidence, his belief in the curse mark's power, all shattered. Orochimaru would need a different approach, a different target. Perhaps the monster himself? No, that was suicide. He'd felt Naruto's power firsthand in the Forest of Death. That boy was beyond his ability to control or contain, better to observe from a distance, to study, to wait for an opening. In the hospital, Sasuke regained consciousness 3 days later. His first words were, "I need to get stronger." Kakashi, sitting by his bedside, sighed. "Sasuke, you nearly died. You need to." "I need to get stronger." Sasuke's voice was harsh, desperate. "I had the curse mark. I had level 2. I used everything. And Naruto didn't even try. He was playing with me, Kakashi. Playing." "Yes," Kakashi said quietly. "He was." "Then how?" Sasuke's hands clenched the bedsheets. "How do I close that gap? How do I become strong enough to stand beside him instead of always looking up?" Kakashi considered his answer carefully. "You don't close the gap by chasing Naruto's type of strength. You'll never be what he is. He's unique in ways we don't fully understand. But you can become strong in your own way. Master the Sharingan fully. Develop techniques that play to your strengths. Find your own path to power." "My own path led me to Orochimaru," Sasuke said bitterly. "And that path failed," Kakashi said bluntly. "So find a different one. Train legitimately. Push yourself without shortcuts. Become strong through effort and discipline instead of borrowed power." Sasuke was silent for a long moment. "And if that's not enough, if I do everything right and I'm still too weak to matter, then you learn to accept it," Kakashi said. "Or you keep fighting anyway. Those are the only options." It wasn't comforting, but it was honest. Sasuke turned his face away, staring at the ceiling. "I'll become stronger, whatever it takes, even if I can never reach Naruto's level. I'll become strong enough that he has to acknowledge me as more than just entertainment." That was the best Kakashi could hope for. Naruto stood on the Hokage monument, looking out over Konoha in the evening light. The village spread below him, thousands of people going about their lives, completely unaware that a monster walked among them. Haku appeared silently behind him. "Naruto-sama, why did you bring Sasuke back? You could have let him go to Orochimaru. You could have." "I brought him back because he's mine," Naruto interrupted. "Sasuke is part of my territory now, part of my crew, whether he knows it or not. And I don't let my things be taken by weaklings like Orochimaru." He grinned over his shoulder. Besides, I want Sasuke to get stronger. I want him to become a challenge. Right now, this world is boring me, Haku. I need stronger opponents, need greater wars, need something to make my blood boil with excitement. And if you never find that, Haku asked quietly, if you're simply too strong for this world, Naruto's grin faded slightly. Then I'll create challenges. I'll start the greatest war in history. I'll force this pathetic shinobi world to produce warriors worthy of fighting me. His eyes burned with intensity. One way or another, I will find worthy opponents, even if I have to tear this entire world apart to do it. Haku said nothing. What could he say? Naruto wasn't threatening, wasn't boasting, he was stating fact. Naruto-sama, Haku said carefully, what do you truly want? Beyond battles and strength? Naruto was silent for a moment, considering. I want to dominate, he said finally. I want to stand at the top of this world with no one above me, no one who can challenge my supremacy. I want to create an era where strength is the only thing that matters, where the weak know their place and the strong rule absolutely. He laughed, quieter than usual. I want to be king, Haku. King of a world built on pure meritocracy, the strongest at the top, the weak at the bottom, and constant war to determine who belongs where. That's a terrifying vision, Haku observed. Whoa, I know, isn't it great? Haku smiled slightly behind his mask. Serving Naruto was terrifying, overwhelming, and completely insane. But it was also the most alive he'd ever felt. What's our next move? Haku asked. We wait, Naruto said, his tone shifting to something more contemplative. We wait for the world to produce stronger opponents. We wait for the other villages to hear about the beast of Konoha and send their best warriors to test me. We wait for worthy challenges to find me. His grin returned. And if they take too long, then we'll go find them instead. In his office, Hiruzen Sarutobi reviewed the reports from the Valley of the End. The waterfall was destroyed. The canyon was transformed into a crater. The historical statues were damaged, and all of it from a single attack from Naruto Uzumaki. The boy was 13 years old. If he continued to grow stronger, if his power continued to develop at this rate, Hiruzen didn't want to think about what that meant for the shinobi world. He tried containment, tried control, tried guidance. None of it worked. Naruto was a force of nature, and forces of nature didn't accept limitations. The only question now was whether Naruto would destroy the world in his pursuit of strength, or whether somehow, impossibly, he could be directed towards something resembling coexistence. Hiruzen had been Hokage for a long time, had faced countless crises, had made impossible decisions, but Naruto Uzumaki might be the one problem he couldn't solve, and that terrified him more than any enemy village or missing nin ever had. The story of Naruto Uzumaki was just beginning. The beast of Konoha, the Azure Dragon, the boy who'd been born with the memories and powers of Kaido, the king of beasts from another world entirely. He dominated the academy, overwhelmed his Jonin instructor, demolished the Chunin exams, broken Sasuke's pride at the Valley of the End, and he was still just getting started, because Naruto didn't want acceptance, didn't want friendship, didn't want peace. He wanted war. He wanted conquest. He wanted to stand at the absolute pinnacle of strength with no one capable of challenging him. And the shinobi world, with all its hidden villages and legendary warriors and secret techniques, was about to learn what it meant to face overwhelming force made manifest. The greatest war in history was coming, and Naruto Uzumaki would be the one to start it. The words hung in the air like a death sentence for the old world, and in the days following the Valley of the End, that sentence began its execution. Naruto dragged Sasuke's unconscious body back to Konoha, not out of concern or friendship, but because the Uchiha represented potential. Potential for future entertainment, potential for a worthy fight someday. The massive figure of Naruto, now towering at 8 feet with his fur coat billowing behind him and Hasakai resting on his shoulder, created a shadow that swallowed the village gates as he approached. The Anbu guards didn't challenge him. They couldn't. Their hands trembled on their weapons, their instincts screaming at them to flee from this apex predator wearing human skin. Naruto grinned at their terror, his horns catching the afternoon light. "Wororo, what's wrong? You look like you've seen a monster." He dropped Sasuke's body at the gates like a hunter depositing prey. Tell the Hokage her precious Uchiha tried to leave. I brought him back. He's alive, but barely. Weakling couldn't even make me use half my strength. Tsunade arrived within minutes, her face a mask of controlled fury and poorly concealed fear. She'd been Hokage for years now, had faced Orochimaru, had survived wars, but nothing in her experience prepared her for managing Naruto Uzumaki. He wasn't a shinobi. He was a natural disaster wearing a headband he never actually wore. You could have killed him, Tsunade said, medical nin already working on Sasuke's broken body. Naruto's grin widened. If I wanted him dead, he'd be pasted on those statues. But dead opponents don't get stronger, and I need him to get much stronger before he's worth killing. He turned to leave, then paused. Oh, and Hokage? I'm bored. Your missions are jokes. Find me something challenging or I'll find it myself. And trust me, you won't like where I look. Tsunade watched him walk away, his massive frame clearing the street as villagers fled. Shizune appeared beside her, pale. Hokage-sama, what do we do about him? What can we do? Tsunade's hands clenched. He's stronger than any shinobi in this village, stronger than most shinobi in the world, and he knows it. She looked at Sasuke's broken body. The only thing keeping him here is boredom, hasn't fully set in yet. But when it does, she didn't finish. She didn't need to. The months following the Valley of the End saw Naruto's patience wearing thin like a fraying rope. Missions were assigned, B rank, A rank, even occasional S rank tasks meant for full teams. Naruto completed them solo in hours, often leaving nothing but craters and traumatized witnesses. A missing nin compound terrorizing the Land of Fire's border? Naruto walked in, unleashed a burst of Conqueror's haki that knocked out half of them, then systematically crushed the rest with his bare hands. No jutsu, no transformations, just overwhelming physical dominance. The reports that came back to Tsunade's desk grew increasingly alarming. Target eliminated, entire compound destroyed. Naruto Uzumaki refused payment, stated the mission was too easy to deserve reward. Another report, Bandit Fortress eliminated. Sole survivor reports a monster with horns who laughed while buildings exploded around him. And another, missing nin cell destroyed. Naruto Uzumaki unauthorized for this mission, took it without approval. Mission parameters exceeded, requested target elimination, received total obliteration of target and base of operations. Tsunade summoned him. He came, but only because he felt like it. You can't just take missions without approval. Tsunade's fist slammed the desk hard enough to crack it. You're creating diplomatic incidents. The Land of Rain is demanding explanations for why one of our shinobi destroyed an entire town. Naruto picked his teeth with a broken kunai. Broken because it had shattered trying to pierce his skin during training with some unfortunate chunin. That town was hiding criminals. I eliminated criminals. You should be thanking me. You killed 200 people. 200 weak people. Naruto's eyes gleamed with savage amusement. The strong survived. The weak didn't. That's nature. That's truth. Or would you prefer I let murderers and thieves live because some imaginary line on a map says I shouldn't cross it? He stood, his presence filling the room. I don't care about your politics, Hokage. I don't care about your treaties. I care about strength. Find me strong opponents or get out of my way. Before Tsunade could respond, Naruto's head tilted slightly, his observation haki picking up something. His grin became predatory. Actually, this conversation is boring. There are two interesting chakra signatures approaching the village. Strong ones. I'm going to greet them. Wait. But Naruto was already gone, moving with speed that shattered the window and left Tsunade shouting at empty air. Itachi Uchiha and Kasame Hoshigaki entered Konoha's outskirts with their typical caution, disguised among civilians. They were here for the Nine-Tails jinchūriki, under orders from Pain to extract the beast or at least gather intelligence. Kasame Samahata twitched eagerly beneath its bandages. The Nine-Tails container should be easy to identify, Itachi said quietly, his Sharingan hidden but ready. According to reports, he's Wororo. Looking for me? Both Akatsuki members spun. There, standing atop a nearby building with arms crossed and grin savage, was Naruto Uzumaki. Even from this distance, his presence was crushing. Kasame's eyes widened. Itachi's Sharingan activated instinctively. Naruto dropped from the building, the impact cratering the street. Civilians screamed and fled. Konoha Anbu appeared on surrounding rooftops but kept their distance. They knew better than to interfere when Naruto was entertaining himself. "You're the Akatsuki," Naruto said, looking them over like a predator sizing up potential meals. "I've heard about you. Criminal organization collecting tailed beasts, which means you're here for mine." His grin widened impossibly. "That makes you either very brave or very stupid. Let's find out which." Kasame laughed, delighted. "Itachi, this kid's got spirit. Let me test him." Samahata came unwrapped, the living sword scales quivering with hunger. Kasame charged forward with Jonin-level speed, swinging the massive blade downward. Naruto didn't dodge, didn't block, just stood there. Clang! Samahata connected with Naruto's shoulder and stopped like it had hit a steel wall. The sword scales attempted to shred and absorb chakra, but they couldn't penetrate Naruto's skin. Kasame's eyes widened. What the? Naruto's hand shot out, grabbing Samahata's blade with his bare hand. Interesting sword. It eats chakra, right? His grip tightened. The sword squealed, its scales flattening in what could only be described as terror. But it can't eat what it can't reach. My skin is tougher than steel, Shark Man. Your sword is useless against me. Kasame tried to pull Samahata free. It wouldn't budge. Naruto held it with casual, overwhelming strength. Let me show you something better than a sword. His other hand gripped Hasaikai, still strapped to his back. He yanked Samahata from Kasame's hands and tossed it aside like garbage, then swung his kanabo in a casual arc. Kasame barely managed to substitute with a water clone, the real body reappearing 20 feet away. Where he'd been standing, the street was obliterated, a crater 10 feet deep marking where Hasaikai's shockwave had impacted. Fast! Kasame grinned, impressed despite himself. Water style, great shark bullet jutsu. A massive shark of water erupted from his mouth, rushing toward Naruto with enough force to destroy buildings. Naruto inhaled deeply, his chest expanding impossibly. Blast breath! The concentrated beam of fire erupted from his mouth, meeting the water shark head-on. The jutsu evaporated instantly, steam filling the street, and the fire beam continued forward. Kasame's eyes widened in shock as he dove aside. The beam struck a building behind him, instantly igniting it. Impossible, Kasame breathed. That amount of fire chakra. That wasn't chakra. Naruto's voice cut through the steam. That was something else entirely, something your world doesn't understand. He emerged from the steam, blue scales visible on his arms, his horns seeming longer. Come on, Shark Man, you're boring me already. Is that all the Akatsuki has? Itachi stepped forward, Sharingan spinning. Kasame, fall back. This one is beyond normal tactics. His eyes locked with Naruto's. Tsukuyomi! The world inverted, color draining away as Naruto found himself in Itachi's Genjutsu realm, a world of black and white where Itachi controlled all matter, physical form, and time. Itachi appeared before him. In this world, I control everything. 3 days will pass, but only a second in reality. Your mind will break under the... Naruto laughed. Whoa, you think you can trap my mind? My will? His conqueror's haki exploded outward, black-red lightning crackling through the Genjutsu world. The black and white realm began to crack like shattered glass. Itachi's eyes widened in genuine shock. That's impossible. Tsukuyomi is absolute. Nothing is absolute against a king's will. Naruto's presence expanded, his willpower too overwhelming for even the Mangekyo Sharingan to contain. The Genjutsu world shattered like broken mirror, and both Naruto and Itachi staggered back into reality. Blood dripped from Itachi's eye. His Tsukuyomi had been broken from the inside. Such a thing wasn't supposed to be possible. Kasame moved to support his partner. Itachi, are you? We're leaving. Itachi's voice was strained. Now. Naruto's grin was savage. Running already? We were just getting started. He began to transform, blue scales spreading across his body as he entered his hybrid form. His tail erupted from his back, his horns growing longer, his muscles expanding. Let me show you what a real monster looks like. Itachi's hands flashed through signs. Amaterasu. Black flames erupted from his vision, targeting Naruto directly. The inextinguishable flames that burned as hot as the sun itself covered Naruto's body. Naruto stood there, covered in Amaterasu, and laughed. Wororo, hot, but not hot enough. He coated himself in armament haki, the invisible armor allowing him to walk through the flames without damage. The Amaterasu burned around him, but couldn't penetrate his haki defense. You'll have to do better than that, Uchiha. He swung Hasaikai, coating it in advanced conqueror's haki, black red lightning crackling around the weapon without actually touching it. Ragnarok. He slammed the air several feet in front of the Akatsuki pair. The shockwave was devastating. Despite not making direct contact, the hockey-infused attack sent both Itachi and Kasame flying backward, their bodies ragdolling through buildings. Kasame coughed blood. Itachi's ribs cracked. The sheer force of Naruto's attack had damaged them through the air itself. "We're done here." Itachi grabbed Kasame, and both disappeared in a murder of crows, using the distraction to escape. Naruto stood in the destroyed street, Amaterasu still burning on his body, until he casually brushed it off with hockey-coated hands. "Wororo! That was better! Not good, but better!" He turned to the watching Anbu. "Tell the Hokage her village had Akatsuki visitors. I sent them running. You're welcome." The Anbu said nothing, still processing what they'd witnessed. Naruto had fought two S-rank criminals simultaneously and dominated completely. Itachi's Tsukuyomi, feared as an unbreakable genjutsu, had shattered against Naruto's will. Kasame's Samahata, which could drain any shinobi's chakra, had been useless. As Naruto walked away, one Anbu whispered to another, "What is he?" "A monster," came the reply. "A monster even other monsters fear." Far away in a hidden location, Itachi and Kasame reported to Pain via projection jutsu. The six paths of Pain listened silently as Itachi described the encounter. His power doesn't rely solely on the nine tails, Itachi concluded, still recovering from his broken Tsukuyomi. He has abilities we've never encountered. His physical body is nearly invulnerable. His willpower broke my Mangekyo technique from the inside. He's more monster than the tile beasts themselves, Kasame added, Samahata trembling on his back even now. My Samahata feared him. It refused to absorb his chakra even when given the chance. Pain was silent for a long moment. Then, the Nine-Tails Jinchūriki has become a higher priority than anticipated. But attempting to capture him directly would cost us too many members. We'll wait. Gather more tailed beasts first, grow stronger. Then we'll take him by force, using coordinated assault. And if that doesn't work? Kasame asked. Then we find another way, but Naruto Uzumaki will be captured. The Nine-Tails is essential to our plan. Pain's Rinnegan eyes gleamed. No matter how strong he thinks he is, no one defies a god. Back in Konoha, Tsunade faced the council, all of whom had heard about the Akatsuki incident. Homura Mitokado spoke first. The Uzumaki boy fought off two Akatsuki members alone. This proves his value as a weapon for the village. He's not a weapon we can control. Tsunade slammed the desk. He's a force of nature. He takes missions without authorization, destroys entire locations beyond mission parameters, and now he's attacking international criminals in the middle of our village. Koharu Utatane leaned forward. Then we must find a way to control him. The Hokage has authority over all shinobi in Konoha. Tsunade laughed bitterly. Authority? He doesn't recognize authority. The only thing Naruto Uzumaki respects is strength, and there's no one in this village stronger than him. She looked at each council member. We have three options. 1, we try to kill him, which would require every jonin in the village working together and would likely still fail while devastating Konoha in the process. 2, we exile him, which makes him someone else's problem until he decides to come back and take whatever he wants by force. Or 3, we manage him, give him what he wants, strong opponents, challenging missions, and hope he stays entertained enough not to turn on us. Danzo, silent until now, spoke. There is a fourth option. We use him, point him at our enemies and let him destroy them. He wants strong opponents? Give him enemy shinobi. He wants challenges? Send him after threats to Konoha. Make his desires align with our needs. Tsunade considered this. That's just option 3 with prettier words. But it's the only realistic choice we have. She sighed. Fine. I'll assign him to Anbu-level threats, solo missions against S-rank targets. Maybe that'll keep him occupied. And when he gets bored of those? Homura asked. No one had an answer. Over the following months, Naruto's reputation spread like wildfire through the underground networks. The Beast of Konoha, they called him. The Monster Genin. The Unkillable Demon. Stories spread, some true, some exaggerated, all terrifying. A missing 9 safe house in the Land of Water, fortified and defended by 20 Jonin-level criminals, was found completely destroyed, with a single survivor babbling about a horned monster who laughed while breathing fire. An entire mercenary company hired to destabilize the Land of Fire's borders vanished overnight, the only evidence being a massive crater and the echo of booming laughter. But not all of Naruto's time was spent on destruction. He'd taken an interest in something unexpected: recruitment. Haku had been the first. Saved from Zabuza's death in the Land of Waves, the ice user had pledged himself to Naruto's service, recognizing strength as the only true path. Under Naruto's brutal training philosophy, survive or die, improve or be discarded, Haku's ice techniques had evolved from defensive tools to deadly weapons. His demonic ice mirrors could now freeze opponents solid in seconds. His Senbon needles, once precise instruments for hitting pressure points, were now coated in ice chakra sharp enough to pierce steel. The second recruit surprised everyone. Neji Hyuga had never recovered from his loss at the Chunin exams. The experience of being utterly dominated, of having his entire philosophy of fate and destiny crushed by overwhelming strength, had broken something in him. But instead of destroying him, it had transformed him. He sought out Naruto weeks after the Valley of the End incident. "Make me strong," Neji demanded, finding Naruto on the training grounds. "Strong like you, I don't care what it costs." Naruto looked him over with observation haki, sensing the change in the Hyuga spirit. "You want strength? Real strength?" His grin was savage. "Then abandon your clan's weakness, their gentle fists, their careful strikes, their pathetic philosophy of fate. Throw it all away. Strength isn't gentle, strength isn't careful, strength is absolute. Then teach me. I don't teach, I forge." Naruto's conqueror's haki flared, pressing down on Neji like a physical weight. "Survive my training and you'll become strong. Fail and you'll break. Decide now." Neji didn't hesitate. "I'll survive." The training that followed would have killed a normal shinobi. Naruto didn't believe in gradual improvement or safe practice. He threw Neji into fights against multiple opponents, forced him to adapt or be crushed, pushed his Byakugan beyond its normal limits by having him track Naruto's high-speed movements or be struck by Hasai-kai. Neji's gentle fist evolved into something new. Still precise, still targeting chakra points, but now backed by killing intent and brutal efficiency rather than clan tradition. Other shinobi noticed. Some were horrified, others were intrigued. Rock Lee approached Naruto during a training session. "Naruto-san, Guy Sensei says you're the strongest in the village. Please, let me test my youth against your strength." Naruto looked at the green-clad genin, his observation haki sensing something interesting. "You can't use ninjutsu or genjutsu, only taijutsu. That should make you weak." His grin widened. "But you're not weak, are you? Show me." Lee didn't need to be asked twice. He dropped his weights. The ground cratered as hundreds of pounds of metal hit the earth and blurred forward with pure speed. His fists struck Naruto in a flurry of attacks, each one precise and powerful. Against any normal opponent, the assault would have been devastating. Against Naruto, it was like punching a mountain. Lee's fists connected, but Naruto's skin didn't even bruise. The green-clad genin flipped backwards, shaking out his hands. "Incredible, your body is like iron." "Worororo, better than iron, kid, but you've got spirit!" Naruto's grin was genuine. "You're weak now, but you've got the right idea. Taijutsu, pure physical power. That's real strength, not hiding behind jutsu." He tapped Lee's chest with one finger, the casual touch still strong enough to make Lee stumble. "Keep training. Open those 8 gates your sensei taught you. Maybe someday you'll be strong enough to make me feel your punches." Lee's eyes gleamed with determination. "I will. I'll train 10,000 times harder, and one day my taijutsu will surpass even yours." Naruto laughed. "I like your attitude. You're welcome to try." But not everyone was drawn to Naruto's philosophy. Sakura confronted him after seeing Neji's transformation. "You're turning people into monsters like you," she accused, her medical training under Tsunade having given her courage, or perhaps foolishness. Neji used to care about his team, about protecting others. Now all he cares about is getting stronger. Naruto looked at her with complete disinterest. "And he's becoming what he should be. A weapon, a warrior. What do you want him to be? Pink hair? A protector? Someone who guards the weak?" He snorted. "The weak don't deserve protection. They deserve to either get stronger or get out of the way." "That's horrible. People aren't just strong or weak. There's nothing else that matters." Naruto's voice cut through her protest like a blade. In the end, when enemies come, when war arrives, when death is at your door, the strong survive and the weak die. That's reality. That's truth. Everything else is just pretty lies told by the weak to make themselves feel better. Sakura's fists clenched. Then I'll prove you wrong. I'll get stronger and show you that there's more to being a shinobi than just... Then do it. Naruto turned away, already bored. Get strong enough to back up your words, and maybe I'll listen. Until then, you're just noise. The humiliation burned, but it also motivated. Sakura threw herself into training with Tsunade with renewed intensity, determined to prove Naruto wrong. She didn't know it yet, but she was following the exact path Naruto predicted, getting stronger to oppose him, thereby proving his point about strength being what mattered. Tsunade noticed the change in the village's atmosphere. Jinin and Chunin were training harder, pushing themselves beyond normal limits. Some did it to oppose Naruto's philosophy. Others embraced it. But all of them were improving, driven by the presence of this overwhelming monster who made the entire shinobi world seem small. He's changing Konoha, Shizune observed during a meeting. Not through leadership or inspiration, but through pure intimidation and example. He's a wildfire, Tsunade replied, staring out at the village. Destroying everything traditional, but forcing new growth in his wake. I just hope we can control the burn. But control was the last thing on Naruto's mind. Months passed. Naruto completed S-rank missions with the same ease others completed D-ranks. Assassinate a rogue jonin? Done in an hour. Destroy an enemy supply line? The entire compound was a crater. Rescue hostages from a fortified position? Naruto walked in the front door, unleashed Conqueror's Haki to knock out everyone but the hostages, and walked out. No stealth, no subtlety, just overwhelming force. But with each mission, the boredom grew. These weren't challenges. They were chores. One evening, Naruto stood on the Hokage monument, looking out over Konoha, the village that feared him, the village that couldn't control him, the village that was becoming a cage. Naruto-sama, he turned. Haku stood behind him, having mastered the silent approach. What is it? There are rumors. The Akatsuki has captured the one-tailed jinchūriki from Sunagakure. They're planning to extract it. Naruto's eyes gleamed. The one-tail? Shukaku? Shukaku? He grinned. I fought that Gaara kid during the Chunin exams. He was boring. But the Akatsuki, his grin widened. They might be interesting. What will you do? What I always do. Naruto's Conqueror's Haki flared, visible as black-red lightning around his body. I'm gonna find them, fight them, and see if they can entertain me. And if they're strong enough, maybe I'll let them live. If not, he laughed his booming laugh. Wororo, then the Akatsuki will learn what happens when you bore me. The next morning, Tsunade received a note, written in bold, crude handwriting. Gone to fight Akatsuki. Maybe I'll rescue the Sand Jinchuriki. Maybe I won't. Depends on how fun the fight is. Naruto. Tsunade crumpled the note, then threw it away in disgust. That idiot! He can't just... She stopped herself. Yes, he could. He absolutely could. And there was nothing she could do to stop him. She summoned Team Kakashi minus Naruto. Emergency mission. Kazekage Gaara has been captured by Akatsuki. They're likely extracting his tailed beast as we speak. You're to provide support for the Sunagakure rescue effort. Kakashi's visible eye narrowed. And Naruto? He's already gone, alone, heading straight for the Akatsuki hideout. Tsunade's voice was strained. Your secondary objective is to make sure he doesn't start a war with Sunagakure through collateral damage. Good luck. As Team Kakashi departed, Sakura asked the question they were all thinking. Can we even keep up with him? Kakashi's answer was honest. No, but we have to try. Far away, in a hidden cave in the land of rivers, the Akatsuki performed their extraction ritual. The Gedo statue loomed overhead, its mouth open, drawing out Gaara's tailed beast through ethereal chains. The process was slow, requiring days of concentration from all members. Deidara stood outside on guard duty, his explosive clay bird circling overhead. This is so boring, I want to blow something up! Sasori's voice came from within his puppet body. Patience, Deidara. The extraction takes... He stopped. Both Akatsuki members felt it simultaneously. A presence approaching. Not the Sunagakure rescue team they'd expected. Something else. Something that made Sasori's puppet fingers twitch involuntarily and Deidara's clay birds wobble in the air. What is that? Deidara breathed, staring at the horizon. There, Walking across the desert with casual confidence was Naruto Uzumaki. His massive frame was visible even from miles away, Hasakai resting on his shoulder, fur coat billowing in the desert wind. He wasn't running, wasn't rushing, just walking like he had all the time in the world. But the pressure, the sheer presence was crushing. Deidara's trained instincts screamed at him to flee. Sasori, normally emotionless within his puppet, felt something he hadn't experienced in decades: uncertainty. Naruto stopped 100 yards from the cave entrance, looking up at the circling clay birds, then at the two Akatsuki members. His grin was savage. "Whoa, found you! I heard you kidnapped the jinchūriki!" He planted Hasakai in the ground, the impact creating a small crater. That means you're either strong enough to be interesting, or you're just weak kidnappers who got lucky. Let's find out which. Deidara reacted first, his artistic temperament unable to resist a challenge. "You think you can just walk up to an Akatsuki hideout? Let me show you true art." His hands molded clay rapidly. C2 Dragon. A massive clay dragon formed, flying toward Naruto with explosive clay bombs dropping from its mouth. The explosions erupted across the desert, each one powerful enough to destroy buildings. Dust and fire filled the air. Deidara grinned. "That's what you get for Worororo." The laugh cut through the smoke. Naruto emerged completely unharmed, not even his coat singed. "Fireworks! That's all those were! Fireworks!" He looked disappointed. "I thought Akatsuki was supposed to be strong! Come on!" That didn't even tickle. Deidara's eye twitched. "Didn't even. Fine, try this, C3. He created his most powerful bomb, molding it into a massive sphere. If that was fireworks, this is the sun. He dropped it directly on Naruto. The explosion was massive, visible for miles, the shockwave strong enough to shake nearby villages. Bop! A mushroom cloud rose into the sky. When the dust cleared, Naruto stood in a crater, completely unharmed, brushing dust off his shoulder. "Better! That one actually made some noise." He looked up at Deidara with gleaming eyes. "But you're still boring. You hide in the sky and throw explosives. That's not art. That's cowardice." Before Deidara could respond, Naruto moved. He vanished with speed that made Deidara's trained eyes struggle to track, then reappeared directly in front of the flying Akatsuki member, having jumped several hundred feet straight up. "Let me show you real art." Naruto's fist, coated in armament haki, slammed into Deidara's chest. The impact sent the Akatsuki member flying, crashing through his own clay dragon, tumbling across the desert for 100 yards before finally stopping. Naruto landed back where he started, laughing. "Worororo! One punch and you're done!" Akatsuki is disappointing. Sasori emerged from the cave, controlling his Hiriko puppet. "You're strong, brat, but art isn't about strength alone, it's about eternity." His puppet tail lashed out, dripping poison that could kill with a single scratch. Naruto didn't dodge. The tail struck his chest and shattered, the metal breaking against his skin like glass against stone. Sasori's eyes widened behind his puppet's mouth. "Poison? You think poison works on me?" Naruto grabbed the broken tail, yanked Hiriko forward, and kicked it. The puppet exploded into splinters. Sasori's true body, the puppet core, was exposed. "Interesting," Sasori said, now controlling his 100 puppet technique. 100 puppets surrounded Naruto, each armed with blades and poison. "Let's see how you handle." Naruto's Conqueror's haki exploded outward. The invisible pressure wave hit every single puppet simultaneously. Their chakra threads, maintained by Sasori's will, severed under the overwhelming force of Naruto's willpower. All 100 puppets collapsed instantly, crumbling like broken dolls. Sasori stood frozen, staring at his fallen creations. "Impossible. That's not chakra. That's not any technique I've ever. It's willpower." Naruto walked forward, each step making Sasori instinctively retreat. "My will is so strong it becomes physical. It breaks your techniques, shatters your jutsu, and reminds you of what you really are, weak." Inside the cave, Pain felt the disturbance. Deidara and Sasori are losing. "All members, stop the extraction. We have a visitor." But it was too late. Naruto entered the cave, ducking slightly to fit his massive frame through the entrance. Inside, the Gedo statue loomed, Gaara's unconscious body lying at its base. The remaining Akatsuki members stood in their projection forms. They weren't physically present, but their chakra signatures were visible to Naruto's observation haki. "Wororo, hiding, are you?" Naruto's voice boomed through the cave. "Using shadow clones or projections or whatever. That's smart. Because if you were here physically, I'd crush you all at once. Pain's projection spoke. You're the Nine-Tails Jinchūriki, Naruto Uzumaki. We'll be coming for you eventually, but not today. Why wait? Naruto spread his arms wide. I'm here. Your members are broken outside. Come and fight me! Or are you scared? We don't fear you, Pain replied calmly. We're simply being strategic. You're strong, but you're not invincible. When we capture you, we'll use coordinated assault, overwhelming numbers, and tactics you can't simply punch through. Naruto's grin faded slightly. So you are scared. Disappointing. He looked at Gaara's body. This one's already dead, isn't it? You killed him extracting his beast. That is correct. Then he was too weak to survive the extraction. Not worth my time anyway. Naruto turned to leave, then paused. But you, Pain, or whatever you call yourself, you sound different, stronger than these other clowns. When you come for me, bring everything. Because if you bore me like your friends did, I'll destroy your entire organization in an afternoon. We'll meet again, Naruto Uzumaki, and when we do, you'll understand pain. Naruto laughed. I understand pain perfectly. It's what the weak feel when they meet the strong. Remember that. He left the cave, stepping over Sasori's broken pup body and Deidara's unconscious form. Outside, he sensed multiple chakra signatures approaching, the Sunagakure rescue team plus Team Kakashi. He waited, curious. Team Guy and Team Kakashi arrived simultaneously with the Sand siblings, Temari and Kankuro. They stopped, staring at the scene of devastation. The desert was covered in explosion craters. 2 Akatsuki members lay defeated, and Naruto stood at the center, completely unharmed, looking bored. Naruto, Kakashi called out. Where's Gaara? Dead. Naruto's blunt answer made everyone freeze. They extracted his tailed beast. He didn't survive. There's an old woman from the Sand Village coming behind you who might be able to fix that, though. His observation Haki had sensed Chiyo approaching with the main Sunagakure force. True to his prediction, Chiyo arrived moments later, elderly but moving with determined urgency. She saw Gaara's body inside the cave. Naruto had left it untouched and immediately began her life transfer technique. As Chiyo worked, Temari approached Naruto cautiously. You defeated 2 Akatsuki members alone? They were boring. Naruto picked at his teeth with a broken kunai. Explosions that didn't hurt, puppets that broke, poison that couldn't pierce my skin. The Akatsuki is weak. They captured Gaara, Kankuro pointed out. He's a Kage. If they're weak, what does that make? It makes your brother weaker. Naruto's harsh assessment made Kankuro's fist clench. He relied on his tailed beast. I dominate mine. That's the difference between strength and dependence. Inside the cave, Chiyo completed her technique. Her life force transferred to Gaara, reviving him at the cost of her own life. She died with a peaceful expression. Her last words about the future generation. Gaara awakened, disoriented. His siblings rushed to him, explaining what happened. When Gaara learned that Naruto had defeated the Akatsuki members who captured him, he looked at the massive horned figure with complex emotions, gratitude mixed with fear, mixed with something like understanding. Thank you, Gaara said simply. Naruto snorted. I didn't do it for you. I did it because I wanted to fight the Akatsuki. You benefiting from it is just coincidence. He turned to leave, then paused. But you should get stronger, Gaara. Without your tailed beast, you're weak. Fix that. Maybe then you'll be worth fighting. As Naruto walked away, Sakura whispered to Kakashi, he saved Gaara's life, indirectly, and he can't even admit it was a good thing. Kakashi's response was quiet. He doesn't see it as saving a life. He sees it as removing obstacles between him and a fight. The fact that people survive his actions is incidental to him. That's horrible. That's Naruto. The return to Konoha was tense. Team Kakashi traveled with Naruto, though calling it traveling together was generous. Naruto walked ahead, ignoring them completely, while they followed at a distance like nervous prey animals tracking a predator. Rock Lee, who'd accompanied Team Guy, kept staring at Naruto with gleaming determination. Incredible! He defeated 2 S-rank criminals without even using his full power. That's the strength of youth! Mike Guy laughed his booming laugh. Indeed, Lee, though I'm not sure youth is the right word for what Naruto represents. He's more like primordial strength, power from before civilization taught us to hold back. Neji, traveling with them, said nothing, but his Byakugan watched Naruto constantly, studying every movement, trying to understand how someone could be so absolutely dominant. When they reached Konoha, Tsunade was waiting at the gates. Report. Kakashi gave a concise summary. Akatsuki hideout found. 2 members defeated by Naruto alone. Gaara rescued and revived by Chiyo's sacrifice. Mission technically successful, though wildly outside normal parameters. Tsunade looked at Naruto. You engaged 2 Akatsuki members without backup, without authorization, and I won. Naruto's interruption was matter of fact. They're alive, but broken, probably being put back together by their medical specialists right now. When they come for me again, they'll bring more people. Good, I want a real challenge next time. This isn't a game, Naruto. The Akatsuki is weak. Naruto's voice cut through her anger. Compared to me, they're weak. Their techniques are impressive for normal shinobi, but I'm not normal. I'm stronger than them, stronger than you, stronger than anyone in this village or any other village. He leaned down, his horns casting shadows on Tsunade's face. So stop pretending you have authority over me. You don't. You never did. The only reason I'm still here is because leaving is more boring than staying. For now. The threat, implicit but absolutely clear, hung in the air. Tsunade could feel her heart racing, her hands trembling slightly, not from fear of injury, but from the terrifying realization that Naruto was right. There was nothing keeping him in Konoha except his own choice, and the day he chose to leave, or worse, chose to take over, there was nothing anyone could do to stop him. Get out of my sight, Tsunade said quietly. Naruto laughed and walked away, Haku and Neji falling in step behind him, his self-appointed lieutenants. That night, Tsunade convened an emergency meeting with her advisors. The Akatsuki incident proves what we feared. Naruto is beyond our control, beyond anyone's control. Danzo's expression was calculating. Then we must consider contingencies. If he turns against the village, we're finished. Tsunade's blunt assessment silenced the room. You saw the reports. 2 S-rank criminals defeated in minutes. Techniques that should kill any shinobi didn't even scratch him. His presence alone knocked out weaker fighters. He's not just strong, he's operating on a completely different level. Then what do? Homura asked. We do what I said months ago. We manage him. We give him what he wants. Strong opponents, challenging missions, freedom to fight. And we pray he doesn't get bored enough to decide Konoha itself is his next challenge. The room fell silent, the grim reality settling over them like a burial shroud. But Naruto wasn't thinking about Konoha's politics. He stood atop the Hokage monument again, his favorite spot, looking out at the world beyond the village. Naruto-sama, Haku said softly, what are you thinking? I'm thinking this world is too small. Naruto's voice was contemplative, unusual for him. The Akatsuki was supposed to be strong. They were boring. The 5 villages are supposed to be powerful. They're weak. Where are the real warriors? Where are the fighters who can make me struggle? Where's the war that'll separate the strong from the weak once and for all? Perhaps, Neji suggested, you need to create that war. Naruto's grin slowly returned. Whoa, now you're thinking, Hyuga. If there are no worthy opponents, I'll force the world to create them. I'll push every village, every warrior, every fighter to their absolute limit, and those who survive will be worthy of fighting me. How? Haku asked. Naruto's eyes gleamed with savage anticipation. By doing what I've always wanted. I'm going to start a war, the greatest war this world has ever seen. I'll challenge the 5 Kages. I'll fight the Akatsuki. I'll battle everyone who thinks they're strong. And when the smoke clears, only the true warriors will be left standing. That's the world I want. A world where strength is everything and the weak have been purged. His conqueror's haki flared unconsciously, black-red lightning crackling around his body, visible for miles. Shinobi throughout Konoha felt the pressure and shuddered, knowing instinctively that something had changed. The monster was no longer content to wait. The months that followed were a building storm. Naruto's activities became more aggressive. He started taking missions outside Konoha's jurisdiction, entering other nations' territories without permission, seeking out strong opponents wherever rumors suggested they existed. He fought the 7 ninja swordsmen of the mist who'd reformed after Zabuza's death. 3 of them died. The survivors fled, spreading tales of a horned demon who broke our swords with his bare hands. he encountered a group of rogue jonin from Mawagakure who'd formed a mercenary company. Their leader, confident in his Earth-style techniques, tried to bury Naruto under a mountain. Naruto transformed into his Azure Dragon form, destroyed the mountain from inside, and chased the survivors across 3 countries just to see if they'd get any stronger when desperate. They didn't. He left them alive but broken, disappointed once again. Word spread. The beast of Konoha, the horned demon, the unkillable monster. Every nation received reports. Every hidden village heard the stories. And in the halls of power, leaders began to worry. The 5 Kage held an emergency summit, not in person but through secure communication networks. The subject, Naruto Uzumaki. Konoha has lost control of their jinchūriki, the Raikage stated bluntly. He's entered cloud territory twice in the last month, fighting our patrol units. 6 jonin hospitalized. He laughed about it. Tsunade, participating from Konoha, couldn't deny it. We're managing the situation. You're not managing anything, the Tsuchikage countered. He's a rogue element, a threat to all 5 nations. Gaara, now reinstated as Kazekage after recovering from his ordeal, spoke carefully. He's strong beyond normal comprehension. Attempting to eliminate him through force would cost hundreds of lives and likely fail. Then what do you suggest? The Mizukage asked. Containment, Gaara replied. Diplomatic pressure on Konoha to keep him within their borders. Unified response if he becomes openly hostile. And, he paused, we prepare for the possibility of war. War? The Raikage leaned forward. You think he'd attack entire nations? I think, Gaara said slowly, that he wants war. He seeks strong opponents, and what stronger opponents exist than entire nations' armies? If we're not prepared, he might force us into conflict just to satisfy his battle hunger. The summit concluded with a tense agreement: monitor Naruto, prepare defenses, and attempt to contain him through Konoha. But every Kaji left that meeting knowing the truth. If Naruto Uzumaki decided to go to war, there was very little they could do to stop him. Back in Konoha, Sasuke had returned. Sort of. He'd left Orochimaru's base after 3 years of training, having absorbed everything the Sannin could teach him. His Sharingan was more refined. His jutsu arsenal was extensive. His curse mark was under perfect control. He'd come to challenge Naruto, to prove that he'd finally reached a level where he could compete. He found Naruto at the training grounds, demolishing target dummies with casual swings of Hasaikai. Naruto. Sasuke's voice was calm, controlled. I'm back, and I'm ready to fight you seriously. Naruto stopped mid-swing, turning to look at the Uchiha. His observation haki sensed Sasuke's improved power immediately. Worororo! You have gotten stronger, Uchiha! Much stronger! His grin was genuine. Good! Finally someone in this village who's actually improving! Then fight me! Right now. Show me how far I still have to go. Naruto planted a Saikai in the ground. Not here, not in this village where weak shinobi will faint from our clash. Follow me. He started walking toward the village gates. They traveled to the Valley of the End, the same location as their last battle. Sasuke stood atop Hashirama's statue. Naruto stood atop Madara's. The symbolism wasn't lost on either of them. This time, Sasuke said, activating his Sharingan, I won't lose in seconds. Worororo! Good, because I'm actually excited this time. Naruto's presence exploded outward, his conqueror's haki making the waterfall stop flowing for a moment, the sheer pressure affecting the natural world. Show me everything you've learned, Uchiha. Don't hold anything back. Sasuke immediately activated his curse mark level 2. His skin turned gray, his hair grew longer, his chakra surged. He'd mastered the form completely now. No loss of control, no mental degradation, just pure power enhancement. He formed hand signs at incredible speed. Fire style, great dragon fire technique. A massive dragon of fire erupted toward Naruto, larger and hotter than any fire jutsu Sasuke had used before. Naruto inhaled deeply. Blast breath! His concentrated fire beam met Sasuke's dragon. The two flames collided midair, and for a moment, just a moment, they seemed equal. Then Naruto's blast breath overpowered the dragon, consuming it and continuing toward Sasuke. The Uchiha was forced to use substitution, reappearing 100 yards away. Better, Naruto laughed. 3 years ago, your jutsu would have been erased instantly. You're improving. Sasuke didn't waste time on words. He charged forward, sword in hand, the Kusanagi blade Orochimaru had given him. His speed was immense, easily high jonin level. His sword, coated in lightning chakra, thrust toward Naruto's chest Clang! The blade struck Naruto's skin and stopped, unable to penetrate even without Naruto using armament haki. Sasuke's eyes widened. He'd expected this, but hoped 3 years of training had changed the outcome. It hadn't. Naruto's hand shot out, grabbing Sasuke's sword arm. Still can't cut me, Uchiha. Your technique improved. You're getting closer. He threw Sasuke backward, the Uchiha flipping midair to land on his feet. Sasuke formed hand signs. Last Wag, lightning-style Kirin. He'd set up the perfect conditions during their exchange. His fire jutsu had created atmospheric disturbances. Now, a massive lightning beast formed in the sky above them, shaped by Sasuke's chakra, but powered by natural lightning. He brought it down on Naruto with devastating force. The lightning strike hit like a natural disaster, the sound deafening, the light blinding. When it cleared, the landscape was charred, a massive crater marking the impact point. Naruto stood in the center, smoking slightly but completely unharmed. Whoa, now we're talking! That actually tingled, Uchiha! That's the first attack you've used that I actually felt! Sasuke was breathing heavily. Kirin took enormous preparation and chakra, but he smiled grimly. Then feel this! He activated his Mangekyo Sharingan, the advanced pattern spinning in his eyes. Amaterasu! Black flames erupted on Naruto's body, the same inextinguishable fire Itachi had used. But Sasuke's control was better. He could shape it, direct it, concentrate it. He focused the flames specifically on Naruto's eyes, trying to blind the monster. Naruto stopped laughing for a moment. Then his conqueror's haki exploded outward with such force that the Amaterasu flames were blown away like smoke in a hurricane. Nice try, but your brother tried that too. It doesn't work on me. He entered his hybrid form, scales spreading across his body, horns growing longer, tail erupting from his back, his size increasing until he stood 12 feet tall. Let me show you my full power, Uchiha. This is the form that demolished you 3 years ago. Let's see if you can last more than 1 second this time. Sasuke gritted his teeth and summoned his Susanoo. The massive skeletal warrior formed around him, larger than buildings, its purple energy crackling with power. He'd achieved the complete form, flesh over bones, armor plating, a warrior of pure chakra. Impressive. Naruto's grin was savage. You've mastered your clan's technique. That's worthy of respect. He gripped Hasaikai with both hands, coating it in advanced conqueror's haki, black-red lightning crackling without touching the weapon. But let's test if it's worthy of surviving. Thunder Bagua. He vanished. Sasuke's Mangekyo Sharingan could barely track the movement. Naruto reappeared inches from Susanoo's face. Hasaikai already in mid-swing. Boom! The impact was catastrophic. Susanoo's armor cracked, its structure shuddering under the force. Sasuke coughed blood inside the construct, the feedback damage affecting him directly. But Susanoo held. It didn't shatter like it had 3 years ago. Naruto's eyes widened slightly. You blocked it? Whoa, excellent! He swung again, this time even faster. Sasuke tried to have Susanoo block, but the second strike was too much. The chakra construct broke, shattering like glass. Sasuke fell, his Mangekyo Sharingan bleeding from overuse. But before he hit the ground, Naruto caught him. You did well, Uchiha. Naruto's voice held genuine approval. 3 years ago, you lasted 1 second. Today, you lasted almost a minute. That's incredible improvement. You blocked my Thunder Bagua, weakened, but still. No one else has ever blocked that attack. Sasuke, barely conscious, managed to speak. Still, not enough to beat you. Not yet. Naruto set him down carefully, one of the few gentle actions anyone had ever seen from him. But you're close to being truly strong. Another year, maybe 2, and you might actually push me to half my power. Keep training, Uchiha. You're becoming a warrior worthy of my time. He left Sasuke there, knowing that Uchiha's pride wouldn't let him stay down for long. As he walked back toward Konoha, Naruto realized something. Sasuke's improvement had actually excited him. Not because Sasuke was now a threat, but because it proved the world could produce stronger warriors if pushed hard enough. That realization crystallized his decision. It was time. Time to stop waiting. Time to stop hoping the world would naturally produce worthy opponents. Time to force the issue. Time to start his war. Naruto returned to Konoha with new purpose. He gathered his followers, Haku, Neji, and the dozen other shinobi who'd embraced his philosophy of strength above all. They met in secret, in a training ground far from the village center. Listen well. Naruto began, his presence alone making everyone stand at attention. I'm done waiting for the world to entertain me. I'm done hoping that somewhere, somehow, there are warriors strong enough to give me a real challenge. I'm going to create those warriors. I'm going to force the entire shinobi world to evolve or die. Haku spoke first. How, Naruto-sama? War. The word hung in the air like a death sentence. I'm going to challenge the 5 Kages simultaneously. I'm going to declare myself the strongest being alive and dare anyone to prove me wrong. I'm going to attack every major village's forces until they have no choice but to send their absolute strongest against me. And in that crucible of conflict, the world will produce the warriors I crave. Neji's Byakugan activated unconsciously, seeing the chakra, no, the presence, radiating from Naruto as he spoke. That would unite the entire world against you. Good. Naruto's laugh boomed. Let them unite. Let every village, every clan, every warrior band together. The stronger the opposition, the more glorious my conquest. And those who survive, those who get strong enough to fight me seriously, they'll be the foundation of my new world. A world where strength is everything. When? Someone asked. Soon. Naruto's grin was savage. But first, I need to make a statement. Something that'll make the entire world pay attention. Something that'll make them realize I'm not just a rogue jinchūriki or a strong shinobi. I need to prove I'm a force of nature. That night, Naruto stood atop the Hokage Tower and released his Conqueror's Haki at full power. The invisible pressure wave expanded across Konoha like a tidal wave. Weaker shinobi fainted where they stood. Chunin struggled to stay conscious. Even Jonin felt their knees weaken, their instincts screaming at them to submit to this overwhelming presence. The pressure reached beyond the village, felt by every sensor-type shinobi within miles. It was a declaration, a challenge, a promise of violence to come. Tsunade rushed to the tower, finding Naruto standing at its peak, silhouetted against the moon. What are you doing? That pressure, half the village is unconscious. I'm making an announcement. Naruto's voice carried to Konoha, amplified by his haki. To Konoha, to the 5 nations, to every warrior in this world. I am Naruto Uzumaki, the strongest creature alive, and I'm done playing by your rules. His presence intensified, the pressure becoming almost unbearable. From today forward, I operate on my terms. The strong will rise, the weak will fall, and anyone who thinks they can stop me had better bring everything they've got. Black-red lightning crackled around his body, visible for miles. I'm going to create the greatest war in history, a war that'll separate the strong from the weak once and for all, a war that'll forge the strongest warriors this world has ever seen. He pointed Hasaikai at the horizon. To the 5 Kages, to the Akatsuki, to every fighter who thinks they're strong, my war is coming. Prepare yourselves, get stronger, because when I arrive, I will conquer, and only the truly mighty will survive. The Conqueror's Haki reached its peak, a shockwave that shattered windows across Konoha and knocked out every genin and most chunin in the village. The message was clear, undeniable, terrifying. The age of Naruto Uzumaki had begun. In hidden villages across the shinobi world, sensor types felt the pressure and reported it to their Kages. In the Akatsuki hideout, Pain felt it and knew their timeline had just accelerated. In Orochimaru's laboratory, the Sannin felt it and smiled grimly, knowing chaos was coming. And in Konoha, Tsunade looked at the monster who just declared war on the world and realized with horrible clarity that there was nothing she could do to stop it. The next morning, emergency summons went out to all 5 Kages. Another summit, this one in person, because the threat was too severe for remote communication. They met in the Land of Iron, neutral territory, each Kage bringing their strongest bodyguards. Tsunade arrived with Kakashi and 2 Anbu. The Raikage brought his brother Killer Bee. Gaara brought his siblings. The Mizukage brought her Anbu. The Tsuchikage brought his granddaughter Kurotsuchi. The meeting room was tense. We all felt it, the Raikage began without preamble. That pressure last night, it reached across borders, across nations. What the hell is going on in Konoha, Tsunade? Naruto Uzumaki has declared war. Tsunade's voice was hollow. Not on any specific village, but on the entire world. He wants to create what he calls the greatest war in history to separate the strong from the weak. One person declaring war on the world? The Tsuchikage laughed, but it was strained. That's madness. It's Naruto Uzumaki. Gaara's quiet statement silenced the laughter. I've faced him, seen his power. He's not normal. He's not even normal for a jinchūriki. He's something else. Then we eliminate him, the Raikage stated. Unified assault. All 5 villages send their strongest. Overwhelm him with numbers and coordination. And how many will die in that assault? Tsunade challenged. Hundreds? Thousands? He's defeated Akatsuki members solo. He's fought Jonin teams without taking damage. His skin is tougher than steel. Ninjutsu doesn't affect him. Genjutsu doesn't work. Taijutsu bounces off. What exactly is your plan for eliminating him? The room fell silent. The Mizukage spoke carefully. Then what do you suggest? We just let him start this war? We prepare. Tsunade's hands clenched. We can't stop him from starting it. But we can be ready when he comes. We fortify our villages. We train our shinobi. We prepare contingencies. And when he makes his move, we respond with everything we have. That's not a plan, the Raikage objected. That's just reacting. It's all we can do. Tsunade's frustration boiled over. You want to attack him? Fine. Send your strongest. See how many come back. But don't blame me when your entire assault force is hospitalized or dead and Naruto's standing there laughing about how weak you all are. The Kages argued for hours, but no consensus emerged. They couldn't agree on offensive action. Too risky, too costly. They couldn't agree on defensive posture. Too passive, too weak-looking. In the end, they settled on a compromise. Heightened alert status, increased border patrols, and rapid response teams ready to mobilize if Naruto attacked any village. It was a plan born of fear and uncertainty, and everyone in that room knew it probably wouldn't be enough. As the summit concluded, Gaara approached Tsunade privately. How long? How long until what? Until he makes his move. Starts this war he promised. Tsunade looked tired, older than her years despite her jutsu maintaining her appearance. I don't know. Days, weeks, maybe months if we're lucky, but it's coming. As sure as the sun rises, Naruto Uzumaki's war is coming. Back in Konoha, that war was already beginning. Naruto had left, not permanently, but he'd taken his core followers, Haku, Neji, and 10 others who'd fully embraced his philosophy, and departed the village without permission or explanation. Tsunade received a note, written in the same crude handwriting as before. Gone to gather strong warriors. When I return, I'll have an army. Then the real war begins. Naruto. The implications were terrifying. Naruto wasn't just going to attack randomly. He was recruiting, building a force, creating an organization based entirely on strength. Anbu reports came in over the following weeks. Naruto Uzumaki sighted in the Land of Water. Engaged Missing 9 group. 3 survivors joined him after defeat. Naruto Uzumaki encountered in the Land of Earth. Fought Iwagakure patrol. 2 Jonin defected to his side after the battle. Naruto Uzumaki appeared in the Land of Lightning, challenged Cloud Shinobi to duels. Winners were offered positions in his crew. A pattern emerged. Naruto was traveling the shinobi world, fighting everyone he encountered and recruiting those who impressed him. He wasn't taking the weak, he was taking survivors, fighters who'd proven they could withstand his strength and had potential for more. His philosophy was spreading. Not through words or propaganda, but through demonstration. Every shinobi who fought Naruto and survived came away changed, understanding viscerally that strength was what mattered. Some opposed this philosophy. Others embraced it. The shinobi world was fracturing, dividing between those who followed traditional village loyalty and those who followed the new ideology of strength above all. 3 months after his departure, Naruto returned to Konoha, but he didn't come alone. Behind him marched nearly 50 shinobi, missing nin, defectors from various villages, wandering warriors who'd heard the call and answered it. They weren't weak. Every single one was at least chunin level. Many were jonin level, and a few were approaching elite jonin strength. Haku walked at Naruto's right, his ice techniques now deadly enough to kill high-level opponents. Neji walked at his left, his Byakugan and modified gentle fist making him a formidable warrior. And behind them, an army. They approached Konoha's gates with no attempt at stealth or subtlety. The gate guards sounded the alarm. Within minutes, every available shinobi in Konoha was assembled. Jonin, Anbu, even the retired veterans. They formed defensive lines, hundreds of Konoha shinobi facing Naruto's 50. Tsunade stood at the front, Kakashi beside her. Naruto, stand down. You're bringing an unauthorized force to Konoha. That's an act of war? Naruto's laugh cut through her words. Wororo, yes, it is an act of war, but not against Konoha. He stepped forward, his presence alone making the defensive line waver. I'm not here to destroy this village. I'm here to make it understand. He gestured to his followers. These warriors have embraced truth, the truth that strength determines everything, the truth that the weak exist only to serve the strong or be discarded, the truth that your old world of politics and alliances and false peace is dying. His conqueror's haki flared, not enough to knock people out, but enough to make everyone feel it. I'm giving Konoha a choice. Join my war. Embrace strength. Send your strongest to fight beside me as we conquer this world. Or stand aside and watch as I do it without you. What's it gonna be, Hokage? The ultimatum hung in the air. Tsunade's mind raced. If she ordered an attack, hundreds of Konoha shinobi would die fighting Naruto's force. Even if they won, unlikely, the village would be devastated. If she accepted, she'd be legitimizing Naruto's rebellion, essentially surrendering the village's independence. Before she could answer, a new voice spoke. I'll join you. Everyone turned. Sasuke stepped forward from the Konoha ranks, his Sharingan active. I'll join your war, Naruto. Not because I agree with your philosophy, but because fighting beside you is the only way I'll get strong enough to eventually surpass you. Naruto's grin widened. Worororo, now you're talking like a warrior Uchiha. Welcome to my crew. He looked back at Tsunade. See? That's someone who understands. He wants to surpass me, so he joins me to get stronger. That's the spirit I respect. Other Konoha shinobi stirred. Some looked tempted, others looked horrified. The village was being torn apart from within. Tsunade made her decision. Stand down, she ordered her forces. Everyone, stand down. Shocked murmurs rippled through the Konoha ranks. Hokage-sama, we can't just... An Anbu began. I said stand down. Tsunade's voice cracked like a whip. She looked at Naruto. You want to start your war? Fine, do it. But you're not dragging Konoha into it officially. Any shinobi who joins you does so of their own free will, forfeiting their village affiliation. They'll be marked as missing nin. Understood? Naruto laughed. Wororo, fair enough. I don't need your permission anyway. I'm offering your shinobi a choice. He turned to address all of Konoha. Anyone who wants to join the winning side, who wants to embrace strength, who wants to fight in the greatest war this world will ever see, step forward, join me. Together, we'll conquer. Silence. Then slowly a few shinobi stepped forward. Not many, maybe a dozen out of hundreds, but they stepped forward. Among them, several chunin who'd felt weak and powerless their entire lives, seeing in Naruto a path to true strength. A few jonin who'd grown disillusioned with village politics. Some Anbu who respected power above loyalty. Tsunade watched her village splinter and felt helpless to stop it. These defections would weaken Konoha, but forcing them to stay would only create internal conflict. She had no good options. Naruto welcomed each new recruit with savage approval. Excellent! More warriors for my crew, more strength for my conquest. He looked back at Tsunade one last time. Thank you for not being stupid enough to fight me today, Hokage. That showed wisdom. When my war reaches its peak and I stand victorious, I'll remember that Konoha was smart enough to stay out of my way. Maybe I'll even let it survive intact. Maybe. He turned to leave, his now 70-strong force following him. But before he exited the village, he stopped and addressed everyone one final time. To all of Konoha, to all shinobi listening, my war is coming. I'm going to challenge the 5 Kages. I'm going to fight the Akatsuki. I'm going to battle every force in this world until only the strong remain. If you want to join me, you know where to find me. If you want to oppose me, prepare yourselves, because I'm not stopping until this world acknowledges my strength. His conqueror's haki exploded outward one final time, a declaration of intent that could be felt across miles. Then he was gone, his army marching out of Konoha's gates, leaving behind a village in shocked silence. Tsunade stood frozen, watching them go. Kakashi approached quietly. Hokage-sama, what do we do now? Now? Tsunade's laugh was bitter. Now we prepare for war, because whether we want it or not, whether we participate or not, Naruto Uzumaki's war is coming, and when it arrives, the entire shinobi world will burn. In the Akatsuki hideout, Pain watched through a network of spies and informants as Naruto left Konoha with his growing force. He's accelerating his timeline. We need to accelerate ours. Konan, Inform all members. We begin the final tailed beast captures immediately. We can't let Naruto disrupt our plans any further. What about the Nine Tails? Conan asked. We save it for last, but not because we're avoiding him. Because when we finally face Naruto Uzumaki, we'll do it with the power of 7-tailed beasts. Then we'll see if his strength can match that of near godhood. Toby, watching from the shadows, smiled behind his mask. This is perfect. Let Naruto gather his forces. Let him start his war. In the chaos, I'll complete the Moon's Eye plan. And when everyone's exhausted from fighting each other, I'll trap them all in infinite Tsukuyomi, Naruto included. But none of them, not Pain, not Toby, not even Naruto himself, truly understood the storm they were about to unleash. Naruto established his base in an abandoned fortress in the Land of Iron's mountains, neutral territory, far from any village's jurisdiction. His followers fortified it, turning it into a stronghold. And from there, he sent out his challenge. Messages were delivered to all 5 Kages simultaneously, written in bold characters that seemed to radiate aggression. To the 5 Kages, I am Naruto, the strongest creature alive. I challenge you to prove otherwise. In 1 month, I will attack the summit of the caves wherever you choose to hold it. Bring your strongest bodyguards. Bring your most powerful shinobi. Bring everything you have. I will fight all of you simultaneously, and I will win. This is not a threat. This is a promise. Prepare yourselves. The greatest war begins soon. Naruto Uzumaki, King of Beasts. The messages caused immediate panic. An emergency summit was called. This one purely focused on the Naruto threat. The Raikage slammed his fist on the table, cracking it. This is it. He's given us no choice. We have to mobilize everything we have. Agreed, the Tsuchikage said grimly. This has gone beyond mere rogue shinobi. He's threatening the entire established order. Gaara spoke quietly. We should take him seriously. He's not bluffing. He will attack, and he will be stronger than we expect. The Mizukage nodded. Then we prepare accordingly. Each village sends its absolute strongest. We coordinate our tactics. We hit him with everything at once. Tsunade, still reeling from Konoha's recent defections, added, we should also contact the Akatsuki. I know they're criminals, but they're also enemies of Naruto. Temporary alliance? The Raikage scoffed. Working with them? He stopped, considering. Actually, that might work. They want the Nine Tails. We want Naruto stopped. Common enemy. It was a desperate plan. But desperate times called for desperate measures. The month passed in frenzied preparation. Each village trained their elites harder than ever. Tactics were developed specifically for fighting Naruto. Overwhelming numbers, coordinated jutsu, attacking from all angles simultaneously. Weapons were prepared, seals were crafted, every possible advantage was sought. And in his mountain fortress, Naruto trained his crew. His methods were brutal. Daily sparring sessions where he fought multiple opponents simultaneously, forcing them to coordinate or be crushed. Missions into hostile territory to test their skills under pressure. Individual training where he'd critique their techniques with savage honesty, breaking down their weaknesses and forcing them to improve. Sasuke fought Naruto almost daily, his Sharingan evolving under the constant pressure. Haku mastered new ice techniques, creating entire blizzards with his chakra. Neji developed a hybrid style combining his gentle fist precision with brutal killing intent. Each member of Naruto's force grew stronger, forged in the fire of his overwhelming expectations. You're not strong enough yet, Naruto roared during a training session, his hybrid form towering over a group of his warriors. The 5 Kages won't be weak like the opponents you faced before. They'll have techniques that can kill you. They'll have power that can destroy you. So get stronger, faster, more brutal, or when the real war comes, you'll die. His words were harsh, but they worked. Every member of his force improved dramatically, driven by fear of disappointing their monstrous leader and desire to prove themselves worthy. The day of the summit arrived. The location, a reinforced arena in the Land of Iron, built specifically for this confrontation. The 5 Kages sat in a semicircle, their strongest bodyguards arrayed behind them, dozens of elite jonin and anbu from each village. Behind them, hidden in the surrounding mountains, were hundreds more shinobi, ready to support if needed. The Akatsuki had even sent representatives, Pain's Devapath and Konan, standing apart from the villages but clearly aligned against Naruto. The arena could hold thousands. Today, It held the fate of the shinobi world. Naruto arrived exactly on time. He walked into the arena alone, Hasaikai resting on his shoulder, his massive 8-foot frame dwarfing the arena's entrance. His horns caught the light. His scales gleamed. His presence was crushing. Behind him, his 70-strong force waited at the arena's edge. They wouldn't participate unless Naruto ordered it. But their presence sent a clear message: he wasn't alone. Naruto stopped in the center of the arena, planted Hasaikai into the ground, and laughed. "Worororo, look at this. All 5 Kages, plus their bodyguards, plus the Akatsuki hiding in the back. All of you gathered together, united by one thing: fear of me." His conqueror's haki flared slightly, enough to make weaker shinobi in the stands struggle to breathe. "I'm honored. You've brought the strongest the world has to offer. This is exactly what I wanted, exactly what I needed." The Raikage stood, lightning crackling around his body. "Naruto Uzumaki, you've declared war on the established order, threatened the 5 great nations, committed acts of aggression against multiple villages. Surrender now, and we'll make your death quick." Naruto's grin widened impossibly. "Surrender? Wororo, why would I surrender when I'm about to have the most fun I've had in years?" He yanked Haseikai from the ground, pointing it at all of them. "Come on then, all of you, together, show me what the combined might of the shinobi world can do." The Kages exchanged glances. They'd planned for this. Coordinated tactics, overwhelming force. The Tsuchikage struck first, flying into the air. Earth-style atomic dismantling jutsu. His dust release, a technique that could disintegrate anything on a molecular level, formed a cube around Naruto. At the same instant, the Raikage blitzed forward with lightning-release chakra mode at maximum power. The Mizukage launched her lava release. Gaara sent a tsunami of sand. Tsunade's chakra-enhanced fist aimed for Naruto's head. Pain's Deva Path used almighty push. Konan sent a billion paper bombs. It was a perfect coordinated assault, hitting from all directions. Multiple elements, techniques that could kill, all striking simultaneously. Boom! The explosion was massive. The arena floor cratered. Dust and smoke filled the air so thick that visibility dropped to 0. For a moment, there was silence. Then, from within the smoke, "Whoa, now we're talking!" Naruto emerged completely unharmed. The dust release had failed to disintegrate him. His armament haki had protected him. The Raikage's lightning had dispersed on contact. The Mizukage's lava had cooled instantly against his scales. Gaara's sand couldn't penetrate his skin. Tsunade's punch had been caught by his bare hand. Pain's push had been walked through. The paper bombs had exploded uselessly against his haki defense. That was better! Naruto's eyes gleamed with savage joy. Much better than anything I faced recently. But still not enough. He moved. His speed was absurd. He reached the Raikage first, who was known as the fastest shinobi alive. Naruto was faster. His fist, coated in armament haki, slammed into the Raikage's chest. The impact sent the Kage flying backward, crashing through the arena wall. The Mizukage tried to trap him in her lava release. Naruto simply walked through it, his haki letting him ignore the molten rock. He swung Hasaikai casually. Vajra arrow! The air pressure blast alone sent the Mizukage tumbling backward. Gaara's sand tried to restrain him. Naruto's conqueror's haki burst outward, and the sand fell. Gaara's control disrupted by the overwhelming willpower. Your sand is weak, Gaara. It was weak when we first fought, and it's weak now. The Tsuchikage used dust release again, creating multiple cubes. Naruto grinned and transformed into his hybrid form. Let me show you something you can't disintegrate. His tail whipped out, physically batting away the dust release cubes before they could activate. Tsunade charged with her medical ninjutsu, enhancing every muscle. Her punch could crater mountains. It struck Naruto's chest. He didn't even budge. Whoa, you punch hard, Hokage, but not hard enough. He grabbed her arm and threw her toward the other Kages. Pain's Deva Path intervened, using almighty push to catch Tsunade. This isn't working. He's too strong for conventional assault. You need to get stronger, Naruto interrupted, his voice booming across the arena. All of you, you're the 5 Kages, the strongest in each village. Plus the Akatsuki leader, and you're still too weak to even scratch me. He slammed Hasaikai into the ground. Destroyer of Death, Thunder Bagua. He swung the weapon in a massive arc. The shockwave obliterated half the arena, sending debris and warriors flying. Only the absolute strongest managed to stay standing. the Kages, Pain, and a handful of elite jonin. This is impossible, the Tsuchikage gasped. No single shinobi should have this much power. I'm not a shinobi. Naruto roared. I'm a king, the king of beasts, the strongest creature alive, and all of you are just proving my point. His conqueror's haki exploded outward at full force. The pressure was devastating. Every single shinobi below jonin level fainted instantly. Even many jonin struggled to stay conscious. The Kages themselves felt their knees weaken. This wasn't chakra, it was pure willpower made physical, so overwhelming that it affected reality itself. You see? Naruto's laugh echoed across the arena. That's the difference between us. My will alone is enough to crush your armies. My presence alone makes you doubt, and I haven't even gotten serious yet. He began to transform further. His hybrid form expanded, scales covering more of his body, his size increasing to 15 feet tall. Let me show you my full power. Let me show you what a true monster looks like. But before he could complete the transformation, a new presence entered the arena, Madara Uchiha, or rather, the reanimated corpse of Madara Uchiha, brought back through Edo Tensei by Kabuto Yakushi under Tobi's orders. The legendary Uchiha appeared in the arena, his eternal Mangekyo Sharingan spinning. Impressive, Madara said, surveying the devastation. You've pushed the 5 Kages to their limits. That's more than most could claim. He looked at Naruto. But let's see how you handle real power. Naruto's grin became feral. Wororo, finally, someone who sounds confident. Are you strong? I am Madara Uchiha. I stood equal with Hashirama Senju, the god of shinobi. I created the Uchiha clan's legacy, and even in this weakened reanimated state, I am more than strong enough to defeat you. Then show me! Naruto charged forward, his speed creating sonic booms. Madara's hands flashed through signs. Wood-style, deep forest emergence. Massive trees erupted from the arena floor, trying to entangle Naruto. But Naruto simply smashed through them, his haki-coated body destroying the wood like it was paper. Wood-style won't work, Madara observed calmly. He activated his Susanoo, a massive warrior even larger than Sasuke's, this one equipped with full armor and multiple weapons. Then let's try something more substantial. Susanoo's sword swung down. Naruto caught it with his bare hands, his armament haki preventing the chakra blade from cutting him. Whoa! Now this is more like it. Finally someone who can make me try. He pushed and Susanoo actually staggered backward. Madara's eyes widened fractionally. That shouldn't be possible. Interesting. You're not using chakra for that defense. What is that power? Something this world doesn't understand. Naruto swung Hasekai at Susanoo's leg. The Kanabo, coated in advanced Conqueror's haki, cracked the chakra construct's armor. Madara felt the feedback. His Susanoo actually damaged. Incredible! Madara's excitement was genuine. You can actually hurt my Susanoo? No one's done that in decades. He formed more hand signs. Perfect Susanoo. His construct evolved, growing even larger, gaining legs and full humanoid form, a warrior of pure chakra hundreds of feet tall. Naruto looked up at it and laughed. Bigger isn't always better. But let's test that theory. He transformed into his full Azure Dragon form. The transformation was spectacular. Naruto's body expanded massively, becoming a serpentine dragon easily matching perfect Susanoo's size. Blue scales covered every inch of his body. His horns became antler-like protrusions. His eyes glowed with primal power. Clouds formed around him spontaneously, responding to his mythical nature. The shinobi watching could only stare in awe and terror. This was beyond anything in their experience. A dragon, not summoned but transformed into, facing down the legendary Madara Uchiha's ultimate technique. Worororo! Naruto's voice boomed from his dragon form. Let's see if your warrior can handle a dragon. He inhaled deeply, his chest glowing with inner fire. Blast breath! The concentrated fire beam erupted from his mouth, striking perfect Susanoo directly in the chest. The temperature was insane, hot enough to melt steel instantly. Susanoo's armor began to glow, the chakra construct struggling against the heat. Madara retaliated. Perfect Susanoo's sword swung in a massive arc. The blade struck Naruto's dragon form, and for the first time in the battle, Naruto actually felt resistance. The sword didn't cut him. His scales were too tough, but it pushed him, forcing him back. Excellent! Naruto roared in delight. You can actually push me. You're strong, Uchiha. Stronger than anyone I've fought in months. The two titans clashed, dragon versus warrior, Blast breath versus chakra blades. Physical might versus spectral power. The arena shattered under the force of their battle. The watching shinobi were forced to retreat, the sheer scale of the fight too dangerous for them to remain close. Naruto's tail whipped around, striking Susanu's leg and cracking the armor further. Madara's warrior responded with a devastating sword strike that sent Naruto's dragon form sliding backward, carving furrows in the ground. This is wonderful. Naruto's joy was palpable. I haven't had a fight this fun in years. Keep going, Madara. Show me more. But Madara was analyzing the situation. Despite his attacks, despite perfect Susanu's power, he wasn't actually winning. Naruto's dragon form was too durable. The scales deflected everything, and more concerning, Madara, being reanimated, had infinite chakra and stamina. Yet he was still struggling. How strong would Naruto be against a living opponent who could tire? You're holding back, Madara observed. You're enjoying this fight, so you're not using your full strength. Naruto's dragon form grinned. A terrifying sight. Whoa, you noticed? Yes, I'm at about 60%, because if I went full power, this fight would end, and I'm having too much fun. Madara actually smiled. Then show me your full power. Let me see what the modern era has produced. Are you sure? Naruto's presence intensified. Because at full power, I won't be able to control the destruction. I'm sure. Whoa, excellent. Naruto's dragon form began to glow with black-red lightning. His conqueror's haki, already immense, doubled in intensity. The sky above the arena literally split, clouds parting under the pressure of his will. This is my full power. This is what it means to be king. He coiled his massive body, then launched himself at perfect Susanoo with speed that defied his size. His body coated entirely in advanced conqueror's haki. Black-red lightning crackling without touching his scales. The impact when he struck Susanoo was catastrophic. Perfect Susanoo's armor shattered completely. The chakra construct itself cracked down the middle. Madara's eyes widened in genuine shock. His ultimate technique had been broken by pure physical force, enhanced by this unknown power. Naruto's dragon form coiled around the breaking Susanoo, constricting like a snake. His voice boomed. Ragnarok! He squeezed with all his might, channeling his haki through the constriction. Perfect Susanoo exploded into fragments of dissipating chakra. Madara stood on the ground, his Susanoo destroyed, looking up at the massive dragon form circling above. For the first time in his long existence, the legendary Uchiha felt something unfamiliar. He felt outmatched. Incredible, Madara breathed. Then louder, incredible, you're not just strong, you're operating on a completely different level. This isn't chakra. This isn't any technique I've ever seen. What are you? Naruto descended, transforming back into his hybrid form as he landed. I'm Naruto Uzumaki, the reincarnation of a king from another world, the strongest creature alive, and the warrior who's going to conquer this world. He looked at Madara with respect, actual respect. You're strong, Madara, the strongest I've fought in a long time. If you were alive at full power, you might actually push me to 80%, but reanimated? He shook his head. You can't win. Your chakra is infinite, but your power is limited by this technique. Madara laughed, genuinely amused. You're right. In this state, I can't defeat you, but I've seen enough. He looked at the Kages, still watching in shock. You asked me to help stop this monster. I can't. He's beyond even my capabilities. Your only hope is... He stopped, sensing something. Toby appeared in the arena via Kamui, his masked face revealing nothing. That's enough, Madara. The plan has changed. Toby, Naruto's eyes gleamed. The one who uses that interesting intangibility technique we met before. Are you here to fight me? No. Toby's voice was calm. I'm here to make you an offer. Join me. Together we can create a world where strength truly does determine everything. A world shaped by our will. Naruto laughed. Join you? Or why would I join anyone when I'm strong enough to conquer alone? Because, Toby replied, even you can't fight the entire world simultaneously. The 5 villages, the samurai, the minor nations, every shinobi alive, eventually, numbers will overwhelm even your strength. Then let them try. Naruto's conqueror's haki flared. Let everyone come. Let the entire world unite against me. That's exactly what I want. The greatest war in history, and I'll stand at the center of it, fighting everyone until only the strong survive. Toby was silent for a moment. Then, you're insane. I'm ambitious, Naruto corrected. There's a difference. Toby vanished via Kamui, taking the reanimated Madara with him. We'll meet again, Naruto Uzumaki, and next time I'll have a plan that even your strength can't overcome. With the Akatsuki gone, Naruto turned back to the five Kages. They were battered, exhausted, their strongest techniques proven ineffective. Some of their bodyguards were unconscious. The arena was destroyed, and Naruto stood there, barely winded. Well, Naruto spread his arms wide. That was a good warm-up. Anyone want to continue? Silence. No one moved. Even the Raikage, famous for his aggression, remained still. They'd given everything, and it wasn't enough. Fighting further would only result in needless deaths. Tsunade stepped forward. You've made your point, Naruto. You're stronger than all of us. Stronger than we imagined possible. What do you want? Naruto's grin softened slightly. Not kindness, but satisfaction. I want you to understand. The old world is dead. Your alliances, your politics, your carefully balanced power structures, they're meaningless in the face of absolute strength. He pointed Hasakai at them. From today forward, this world operates on my terms. The strong rise, the weak fall, and if you're smart, you'll adapt to that reality instead of fighting it. And if we don't, the Raikage challenged. Then you'll be crushed. Naruto's response was matter-of-fact. Not today, not tomorrow, but eventually. Because my war isn't stopping, it's just beginning. I'm going to fight every nation, every village, every warrior until this entire world acknowledges that strength is all that matters. He turned to leave, then paused. Oh, and one more thing. In 1 week, I'm attacking the Akatsuki's main base. They have tailed beasts. I want to fight the jinchūriki they've captured. Anyone who wants to join that assault is welcome. After all, the Akatsuki is your enemy too. With that declaration, Naruto walked out of the destroyed arena, his crew falling in behind him. The five Kages stood in stunned silence. They'd brought everything, and it hadn't been enough. The realization settled over them like a burial shroud. What do we do? The Mizukage finally asked. No one had an answer. Over the next week, the shinobi world reacted to what would become known as the Battle of Five Kages. Stories spread, exaggerated and embellished, but the truth was terrifying enough without embellishment. Naruto Uzumaki had fought the five Kages, plus their bodyguards, plus the Akatsuki, plus Madara Uchiha simultaneously, and had dominated the battlefield. Some saw him as a monster that needed to be destroyed at any cost. Others saw him as proof that the old order was failing. And a growing number saw him as something else, the future. Defections increased. Shinobi from various villages abandoned their posts to join Naruto's crew, seeking the strength he promised. His force grew from 70 to over 100, then 150. Not all were strong, many were just desperate or deluded. But enough were capable that Naruto's army was becoming a genuine power. Meanwhile, the Akatsuki accelerated their plans frantically. Pain knew Naruto's threat to attack was serious. They needed to complete the tailed beast extraction before he arrived. True to his word, 1 week after the summit, Naruto attacked the Akatsuki's main hideout, but he didn't come alone. Several dozen Konoha shinobi joined the assault, not officially, but as concerned parties acting without village authorization. Gaara brought a sand contingent. The Cloud Village sent a team led by Killer Bee, the Eight Tails Jinchūriki. Even some former Akatsuki enemies joined. Seeing this as a chance to destroy the organization, it was a strange alliance. Naruto's crew, various village shinobi, and independent warriors all united temporarily against the Akatsuki. The hideout was a massive underground complex. Naruto didn't bother with stealth. He walked up to the entrance and smashed through the sealed door with Hasakai. Pain! His voice boomed through the complex. I'm here! Let's have that rematch you promised! The 6 paths of pain appeared, arranged in formation. Behind them, the remaining Akatsuki members, Kisame, Kakuzu, Hidan, Zetsu, and Konan. Sasori and Deidara were still recovering from their previous defeat. Pain's Deva Path spoke. You brought an army. I brought witnesses, Naruto corrected, grinning savagely. So everyone can see what happens when you face me seriously. He entered his hybrid form. Come on, all 6 of your bodies, plus your friends. Let me see if you're stronger than last time. The battle that erupted was spectacular. Naruto charged the 6 paths. Deva Path used Almighty Push at maximum power. Naruto coated himself in armament haki and walked through it. Same trick twice? Boring. Ashura Path fired lasers and missiles. Naruto tanked them without flinching. his scales deflecting the energy blasts. His tail whipped around, smashing the Asura path into the wall hard enough to crack its body. Animal path summoned multiple creatures, giant crabs, rhinos, birds, dogs. Naruto unleashed Conqueror's Haki, and every single summoned creature fainted simultaneously, their willpower insufficient to resist his presence. Human path tried to extract his soul. Naruto laughed. "Woro, you tried that last time. It didn't work then, and it won't work now." His Haki repelled the attempt. Preta path tried to absorb his chakra. Naruto's Haki-coated punch shattered it like glass. You can't absorb what you can't touch. Only the Diva path and Naraka path remained functional. Pain's expression didn't change, but internally, Nagato was sweating. Naruto was even stronger than before. More refined, more devastating. Planetary devastation. Devapath used his ultimate technique, creating a massive gravity well that pulled in everything around it. Rocks, earth, even parts of the hideout structure. Naruto was lifted into the air, debris crushing around him, forming a massive sphere. "Whirl! This again!" His voice boomed from inside the prison. "I broke this last time. What makes you think it'll work now?" He transformed into his full Azure Dragon form inside the sphere. The sphere bulged, unable to contain his massive size. Naruto's roar shook the entire complex. Ragnarok! The sphere exploded from the inside, fragments of rock falling like meteors. Naruto's dragon form coiled in the air, his presence overwhelming. "Is that your best, Pain? Is that all you've got?" Naruto, controlling the 6 paths from his hidden location, realized the truth. He couldn't win. Even with all 6 paths, even with his Rinnegan abilities, he couldn't defeat Naruto Uzumaki. But he had one final card to play. "Everyone, retreat!" Pain's Deva path ordered the remaining Akatsuki members. "Fall back to the extraction chamber, He never finished. Naruto's dragon form blitzed forward with impossible speed. His tail wrapped around all the remaining paths, crushing them together. "No retreating! We're finishing this now!" He squeezed, and all the paths crumpled. Their bodies, controlled remotely by Nagato, couldn't withstand the physical destruction of their forms. Only the Deva path remained barely functional. "Tell your controller to come out," Naruto roared. "Face me in person, or I'll tear this entire complex apart and find him." Nagato, weakened and dying in his hidden chamber, knew it was over. Through the Deva path he spoke. "You win, Naruto Uzumaki. But know this, your path of pure strength will only lead to a world of endless war. Is that truly what you want?" "Yes!" Naruto's answer was immediate and absolute. Because through endless war, the strong are forged, the weak are removed, and what remains is a world that respects power. He transformed back to hybrid form, standing over the broken Deva path. "You wanted to create peace through pain. I'll create a new world through strength. Which is more honest? Pain?" Nagato had no answer. The Deva path stopped moving. Nagato's chakra connection severed as he died in his hidden chamber. The Akatsuki, leaderless and broken, scattered. Kasame fled. Kakuzu fled. Hiden was too injured to escape. Zetsu vanished into the ground. Konan, loyal to Nagato to the end, tried to fight Naruto and was devastated, her paper techniques utterly ineffective against his Haki defense. The Akatsuki, feared organization of S-rank criminals, was destroyed in a single day by Naruto Uzumaki and his allies. The joint force of shinobi who'd assisted in the assault stared at Naruto in awe. They'd helped, but they knew the truth. Naruto could have done this alone. Their participation had been window dressing. Killer Bee approached Naruto cautiously. "Yo, man, you're strong, that's no lie! But what's your goal? Can you tell this guy?" Naruto looked at the Eight Tails Jinchūriki with interest. "My goal? To create the greatest war in history, to forge the strongest warriors the world has ever seen, to prove that strength is all that matters." His grin was savage. "Want to join me, Eight Tails? You're strong. You'd be a valuable addition to my crew." Killer Bee considered for a moment, then shook his head. "Nah, man, I appreciate the offer so grand, but I'm loyal to the cloud, my village, my land. Though I respect your strength, that's plain to see. Maybe we'll fight again, just you and me." Naruto laughed. "Wororo, fair enough. At least you're honest about it. Not like these cowards who pretend to oppose me while fearing me." The shinobi force began to withdraw, taking what they could from the Akatsuki base. Intel, supplies, captured tailed beast containers, though the beasts themselves had already been partially extracted. But as they left, Naruto stood in the ruins of the Akatsuki's main hideout and realized something. He was bored again. The Akatsuki was defeated. The 5 Kages were intimidated. His crew was growing. Everything was going according to his desires. So why did he feel empty? Haku noticed his expression. Naruto-sama, what's wrong? I'm winning too easily. Naruto's admission was quiet, unusual for him. The Akatsuki was supposed to be strong. Pain was supposed to be a challenge, but I crushed them. Just like I crushed the Kages. Just like I crushed everyone. He looked at Haku. Where are the real opponents? Where are the warriors who can push me to my limits? Perhaps, Neji suggested, having approached during the conversation, you need to create them. Not just recruit strong fighters, but actually train warriors to be strong enough to challenge you. Naruto's eyes gleamed. Train them? You mean make them stronger specifically to fight me? Yes, if no one in this world can match your strength naturally, then forge opponents worthy of your power. A slow grin spread across Naruto's face. Whoa! That's brilliant, Neji. Instead of just conquering, I'll create. I'll train warriors, push them to their absolute limits, make them so strong they can actually challenge me. And when they're ready, I'll fight them with everything I have. It was a new goal, a refinement of his war philosophy. Not just endless conquest, but the creation of worthy opponents through brutal training and constant warfare. Over the next several months, Naruto's activities shifted. He still fought, still conquered, still dominated every battlefield he entered. But now he also trained. His crew underwent even more brutal conditioning. Sasuke, already strong, was pushed to his limits daily. His Mangekyo Sharingan evolved under the constant pressure, his techniques refined through countless battles against Naruto's overwhelming strength. Rock Lee joined Naruto's crew officially, drawn by the promise of facing the strongest. Under Naruto's brutal training philosophy, Lee opened the 6th gate, then the 7th, his taijutsu becoming deadly even by elite Jonin standards. Gaara, inspired by his defeat and rescue, trained obsessively to prove himself worthy of fighting Naruto seriously. His sand control evolved, his techniques becoming faster and more lethal. All across the shinobi world, warriors trained harder than ever before. Some to oppose Naruto, others to join him, but all of them driven by the same reality. The age of Naruto Uzumaki had arrived, and only the strong would survive it. The minor villages began to collapse. Without the protection of the 5 great nations, who were too focused on Naruto to defend their allies, smaller communities fell to bandits, rogue nin, and Naruto's expanding influence. It was chaos, but chaos that separated the strong from the weak exactly as Naruto intended. 1 year after the Battle of 5 Kages, the shinobi world was unrecognizable. The 5 villages still existed, but their authority was fractured. Many shinobi had defected to Naruto's crew. Others had formed independent warrior bands following his strength-first philosophy. Traditional village loyalty was dying, replaced by loyalty to power. Naruto's crew had grown to over 300 strong, not all fighters, but all committed to his vision. They controlled territory in the Land of Iron and parts of the Land of Fire, establishing a new power base that answered to no Kage. And Naruto himself had only grown stronger, refining his haki, perfecting his dragon transformations, pushing himself through constant battle and training. He stood atop his fortress one evening, looking out at the world he was reshaping. His crew worked below, training, planning, preparing for the next phase of his conquest. Sasuke approached, his Mangekyo Sharingan active. Naruto, I'm ready. Ready for what, Uchiha? To fight you seriously, one more time. I've trained for a year, mastered techniques you've never seen, evolved my Sharingan to its next stage. His eyes shifted, the Mangekyo pattern changing into the eternal Mangekyo Sharingan. I've transplanted Itachi's eyes. I'm stronger than I've ever. Fight me, no holding back. Naruto looked at Sasuke, his observation haki sensing the massive increase in power. Whoa, you have gotten stronger, much stronger. You might actually make me use 70% now. Then let's find out. They fought at the Valley of the End once more. But this time, it was different. Sasuke's eternal Mangekyo Sharingan gave him new abilities, perfect Susanoo, Amaterasu that he could control and shape, techniques that could actually damage Naruto's haki defense. The battle lasted hours. Sasuke used everything, Kirin, perfect Susanoo, Amaterasu manipulation, sword techniques, genjutsu combinations that even affected Naruto slightly. He fought with everything he had, and Naruto loved every second of it. Yes! Yes! Naruto roared as Sasuke's perfect Susanoo sword actually cut his scales slightly, the first time anyone had wounded him in months. This is what I wanted! This is a real fight! But ultimately, the outcome was inevitable. Naruto, using 70% of his power, his dragon form at near full strength, his haki at maximum intensity, defeated Sasuke. The final Thunder Bagua struck Susanoo with such force that the entire valley shattered. The waterfall stopped flowing, and Sasuke lay unconscious in a crater. But this time, when Naruto looked at his defeated opponent, he was smiling. Not mockingly, but with genuine pride. You did it, Uchiha. You made me use 70%. No one else has ever pushed me that far. You're becoming worthy. Over the following months, word spread of Sasuke's achievement. The fact that someone had actually wounded Naruto, had forced him to use 70% of his strength, gave hope to warriors across the world. If Sasuke could reach that level, others could too. Training intensified everywhere. Shinobi pushed themselves harder. New techniques were developed specifically to counter Naruto's abilities. Alliances formed and reformed as villages prepared for the inevitable continuation of his conquest. And in his fortress, Naruto sat on a throne he'd had constructed from the weapons of defeated opponents. His crew knelt before him, over 400 strong now, each one a capable warrior who'd proven their strength. My warriors, Naruto's voice boomed through the hall. We've come far. We've defeated the Akatsuki, intimidated the 5 Kages, created a new power in this world. But our war isn't finished. It's barely begun. He stood, Hasaikai in hand. The greatest battles are still ahead. The strongest opponents still await. And when we've conquered everything, when the entire world acknowledges our strength, then we'll have achieved what I set out to do. His conqueror's haki radiated through the hall. We will create a new world. A world where strength determines everything. Where the strong rule and the weak serve or perish. A world without weakness. The crew roared their approval, their voices echoing with fanatical devotion. Outside the fortress on a distant hill, several figures watched the celebration. The remaining Kages had gathered in secret, along with a few surviving Akatsuki members and independent warriors. They'd formed a desperate alliance, the last hope against Naruto's seemingly unstoppable conquest. He's too strong, Tsunade said quietly. Even together, we barely survived our first encounter, and he's only gotten stronger since then. Then we need something beyond strength, Gaara replied. A strategy, a trap, something he can't simply overpower. Or, the Raikage suggested grimly, we accept that the old world is dead, that Naruto was right, that strength is all that matters, and we adapt to survive in his world. The suggestion hung heavy in the air. Some looked horrified, others looked thoughtful. It was Kakashi who spoke the uncomfortable truth. Maybe both approaches are necessary. We prepare our strongest to face him directly, but we also prepare our villages to exist in a world where traditional power structures have collapsed. Because whether we defeat him or not, he's already changed everything. As the secret council debated, Naruto stood alone on his fortress's highest point, looking at the stars. Kurama, silent for so long inside the seal, finally spoke. You've conquered almost everything you set out to conquer. What happens when there's nothing left to fight? Naruto's grin was savage. Then I'll find new worlds to conquer, new opponents to face. Because the fight never ends, Fox. The pursuit of strength never stops. And I'll keep pushing higher until I've reached the absolute pinnacle of power. His conqueror's haki erupted into the night sky, black-red lightning visible for miles, a beacon of overwhelming might that could be sensed across the entire continent. And in villages, hideouts, and training grounds across the shinobi world, warriors felt that pressure and knew the greatest war was coming. Not tomorrow, not next week, but soon. Naruto Uzumaki's final conquest would begin, and when it did, only the strong would survive. The age of Naruto Uzumaki, King of Beasts, had truly begun, and the world would never be the same.
The dragon's reign has just begun. If you enjoyed this glimpse into a darker hidden leaf, make sure to subscribe and join our community here at Quietly. Thanks for watching, and keep pushing your limits. I'll see you in the next one for more legendary tales.